He did.
With a couple people, and like occasionally, and since it's on mine, occasionally like there'll be too many people on it, and you'll get like this thing like, hey, there's too many people on.
Oh, it'll let you know?
Yeah, because it takes it off.
Oh, okay.
It's like it'll stop and say like, hey, there's too many people on.
And what do you think? What's that number generally?
I think like 4
different households or whatever. Okay.
Or on like 4 different screens.
Yeah.
So like I'll usually reach out to people and be like, hey, I'm sort of watching something. So and they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. Last night it came up. I'm like, yeah.
I give up.
Yeah.
It's me. That's
it was
out.
like, I think it was like at the beginning of the 4th quarter. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But then you missed. No, you didn't miss much. Though we will revisit something later in the game.
I was right about something.
You were, and we will go over our recap of our predictions from 3 in the Key. And Chris had a pretty significant one that he got correct. Welcome into the show. Jason Ross here, Christopher Laud as well, Carmichael Dave not with us today as we have a typical Thursday show for you in this sense. Our weekly Thursday guests will be showing up today. That means sports business. Yeah, sports business.
Good business.
With Kelly Brothers, he's going to join us at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, Sam Amick will join us from The Athletic. Get the very latest on the NBA and all things he's covering.
It's good to talk to him in person the other day.
Oh, you saw Sam?
Yeah, saw him at the dining room.
Nice. Sam is always always seems to be kind of just happy and chill and easy to talk to, fun to be around, always connected to the league. So we really enjoy talking to him.
I think he recognized me because I was making fun of Sean. He never heard me.
Oh, so how did that go? Had you not met Sam before?
I think I have like occasionally, but like never like really talked to him in person.
Okay. So that was good. You had a good conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam's the best. So we look forward to talking with Sam. We also will have leading off. We'll have 3 for Madness. We will have at the end of the show celebrity birthdays, a little crosstalk with Big Al and C-Dub. I like that.
Watkins does not.
Oh, he doesn't like C-Dub?
He does not like C-Dub.
I thought he said that was a nickname that, he just doesn't like the C-Dub?
No, I said that was a nickname that I gave Chris that he regretted.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, the story was, this is back when Nick was here as a PD.
Yeah.
And so I came in one time and he was over in the corner where he was working. I just walked by. I'm like, yo, what up, C-Dub? Just like, because like I mess around with everybody around here. And Nick said, oh, Watkins, is that your nickname? And he goes, no. I'm like, oh, no, I was just making it up. And he goes, oh, I like it. I was like, no, we don't call him that. He's like, C-Dub, I like it. And then Watkins gave me a thanks.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that. That's going to stick. It hasn't, to my knowledge. I hadn't heard people call him that.
Yeah, it was just me.
Yeah. But when other people hear it and like it, and if you don't like it, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. We will.
The only thing you could do is shut up and hope they forget about it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's not draw any more attention to this. So we've got all that coming up today. Chris, you alerted this to me yesterday, and I'm so thankful you did because it did get me down a little bit of a rabbit hole yesterday. We're fans of movies, pop culture, all that kind of stuff. And you sent me word of a report that they're going to do a Naked Gun reboot, which I'm all for, and obviously we don't have.
What's crazy is I usually hate reboots. I'm of the idea of you should go back to what you did in Hollywood and just
start something new.
No, not do it. Just do the same thing, but just call it something different.
Oh, I see.
Like that type of thing. But I actually really like this idea.
Yeah, and so it's a Naked Gun reboot, which I think that series did well. It was a TV show. It also had 3 movies or 30.
I didn't know about the TV show.
You didn't? That's what was first, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I remember hearing that. It's like Police Squad.
Police Squad,
okay.
Yeah. And so the Naked Gun became,
And it was with Frank Drebin.
Yep.
Okay. Was it the same type of idea?
Yeah, I believe so, if I remember right. And so now I don't know if it's going to be the same characters. It can't be the same cast. Obviously, we've lost Leslie Nielsen has passed, but
could get
O.J. Norberg. I guess technically they could. I know that would not be I don't think that would land very well, but I don't know how.
Would you be surprised if he had a cameo?
No, I wouldn't actually.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Or they might put something in there talking about him and saying oh, he's in jail.
No, that would actually be funny. What for? And just they could have fun with that. But where it really caught my attention was the reboot. Okay, it's really important if it is Frank Drebin, who plays Frank Drebin, or someone like that, the lead. And reportedly, it's going to be with Liam Neeson. And at first I went, no way. No. Well, hang on a second. So Leslie Nielsen's career, for those of you, and I'm the one that would be at the back end of his career that would know Airplane, Frank Drebin, just all the slapstick. But apparently he was a serious actor.
I think when he first got into comedy, that was a thing. If you watch him, he was never funny.
No.
The funny was him being completely serious about what he was talking about.
Yeah. And
it would be goofy what he was talking about, but that's what made it amazing.
Yeah. And then I've actually seen stuff with him post now, in the last year or so, old footage where apparently he was really a prankster, and he would always carry around a fart sound, a fart machine. And he's we're getting ready to do interviews, sit down when they do those junkets and they have to interview in Tampa to Sacramento to, just all over the place to promote movies. He would play around with that thing. So he was always kind of a prankster, but he delivered that so beautifully. It's just dry, deadpan slapstick. And Naked Gun to me was a lot of fun. Just all those movies. And again, they're going to throw hundreds and hundreds of jokes at you. And that's one you can rewatch because you don't always get them all. And one of my favorite things, I remember, I want to say I was in high school when one of them came out, Naked Gun 2.5 or whatever it was, or 33 1/3, and went on opening night. And it was one of those things where the theater's packed. Everyone was so excited. And I laughed hard. I really enjoyed the movie, but it was one I missed. I could tell people were laughing. I'm like, wait, I wanted to hear more of the dialogue. So I actually went to see that one a second time in the theater. I remember that because you miss too much when there's just joke after joke after joke. And so some of those things, believe it or not, I think those hold up, which is weird.
Yes. We were talking about that. The entire baseball scene from Naked Gun is one of the funniest, the hardest I laugh at movies.
Yeah. And there's, again, talk about hundreds. Maybe it's not everything on there, but there's enough in there. They're just slamming you with slapstick.
I remember my dad showing it to me as a kid, and just the blooper scene, just absolutely crying, laughing.
And I love there's so many little things and nuance to some of it when they go up to the booth and they have 12 broadcasters. And there's big time Hall of Fame.
It's Mel Allen.
Mel Allen. You got Kurt Gowdy. I think Jim Palmer. I don't know. It's just stacked. Maybe Al Michaels is in there. I can't remember, but it's just loaded with talented people. So anyway, and then you showed me a couple of scenes of different things that he's done in kind of that serious role, but it's supposed to be projected as comedy. It's funny.
He's
though.
like playing himself.
Yeah.
And what's so funny about it is he's taking these really dumb ideas and being completely serious.
Yeah.
It.
And the serious nature, and he's talking about very serious things, but yet he makes them funny in the way he delivers it. So it actually might work. I mean, it's all going to depend on the writing and what they put around him. I think it's going to be less about him than it is about the writing and what
yeah.
they.
And now thinking about it, there hasn't really been like there hasn't been like an Airplane or like a Naked Gun style movie that I can think of.
It's been a while because there was a couple that were still around. That there was one that made fun of the Lethal Weapons. I think it was Loaded Weapon with
Emilio Estevez and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I saw that one in theaters, but that would have been in the 90s. And then there was a show that was out really briefly, and I don't know if you saw this, and it would only be a couple of years ago, maybe within the last 5 years, on TBS with Rashida Jones. It was
you told me about that.
Just like that, and I thought it was really funny. Really funny, and I don't even know how many episodes it has or had, and I really enjoyed that show. I got to even look at what that show was called because it was, I thought, well done, but it just didn't have any staying power. Probably wasn't. Oh, it was Angie Tribeca. So you never saw any of those episodes?
No, and it sounds like something I'd like, but I just never got to it.
Yeah, basically the same premise. Dion Cole was in that, and she's a detective, and I think that's what makes these things. That's what Frank Drebin is, and slapstick. I mean, just completely slapstick. Gosh, I'm trying to remember any of the scenes that stood out to me, but there's something where in one of those shows from Angie Tribeca.
Now that I think about it, the movie with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, they came together, is a lot like.
Is it that much slapstick though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Throughout, like it's joke after joke after joke after joke. I showed you the one scene of him at the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think they can pull it off. Liam Neeson is an interesting choice, but it might be the perfect kind of choice because I think naturally you're thinking of like a comedian, but that's not, you don't have to be that because really you're right, Chris, there's not a lot of scenes where people say stuff for other people to laugh. It's almost like I'm saying something one of the classic things that I remember from Frank Drebin would be the visual you see as the audience is him and there's bombs and fire and looting. And he's like, there's nothing to see here. Go back to your homes. And he's trying to be serious. And it's like, there's absolutely everything to look at behind you. But that's kind of the way he delivers.
Quote that you and I say to each other all the time. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it.
Yes. So I think he'll be good. I don't know. When is this supposed to come out?
It's probably next year.
Just starting. So we'll see. Liam Neeson. And I hope they take I think they're going to could have some liberties if they want from any of his movies that he's been so serious in or famous lines like, I've got a specific set of skills, or whatever he might do where he's trying to use that in a serious way, but they, parlay that into something funny. So I'm looking forward to it. Always have enjoyed that. And maybe slapstick's not for everybody, but I think there's for whatever reason, that is such silly and maybe stupid comedy. But I think those last, and I don't know why. It doesn't seem like it should. Because the weird one is I find when writers write something in the current time, which makes sense to do, if you go back and you listen to some stuff that are truly defined as comedies and maybe the key line they deliver, and you're like, oh gosh, we don't even utilize that anymore. That's not even a thing anymore. And it's like, well, it probably was in the 90s or the early 2000s. So we'll see how the Naked Gun reboot does, if in fact it all gets lined up. All right, so let's lead things off. We will talk about the Kings getting demolished by Denver. The NFL report cards came out. Oh my goodness. There was some pretty harsh stuff, some good stuff too. We'll kind of go over those throughout the show today as kind of a through line and much more as we're just getting started here on Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports. Hey, Sacramento, guess what? It's an extra special year, a leap year, and we're making every second count at Elk Grove Kia. Get ready to leap into savings like never before. February might be the shortest month, but our deals are anything but short on value. We're slashing used car prices so you can take home your dream Kia today. And speaking of dreams, leap into this deal with the Kia Forte for just $19,988. It's sleek, it's stylish, and it's waiting for you to drive it home. But wait, there's more. Lease the stunning Kia Seltos for only $199 per month. Yes, you heard it right. A brand new SUV for just $199 per month with approved credit and a down payment of $3,595 plus taxes and fees. This deal is too good not to take the leap. Drive away in style with the Kia Seltos. But hurry, our inventory is limited and these deals won't last forever. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia, conveniently located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com and leap into savings today. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Jackson on the left wing now. Hits the screen. Joker rolls. Jackson had a notion, but he couldn't find him. So he goes to KCP. Oh, is he hot? And Tavius Caldwell now has 19 points as he knocked down his 4th three-pointer.
You remember that time in the game last night when the Kings were cooking? They're up 15 on the road, playing without De'Aaron Fox. And I'm thinking, wow, this might go. The win they had in Denver 2 weeks ago was one of my favorites. This might be my new favorite. And then runs happen in the league. It was an avalanche by the Denver Nuggets. Kings absolutely got crushed.
Was it a 28-4 run to end the first half?
Something along those lines. And then it just continued, though. It's like, all right, because I think they were only down 10 at the half. It's like, all right, they've been hit. But 10, if you had told me before the game they'd be down 10 at the half, it's like, all right, you can win that game. But there was no chance. Then they couldn't score the first 5 or 6 minutes of the third quarter. Denver kept scoring. And, they went from up 13 to down as many as 32 points in the same game. So we had a 47-point turnaround. Denver ended up winning. They pick up their 40th win. Kings, costly loss for multiple reasons. They go to 33-25. Still have the season tiebreaker with Denver, though I don't think that's going to matter in any way, shape, or form. But why it was costly, the ever-changing NBA standings, Sacramento had won the game on Sunday in LA against the Clippers, really a nice win, and put themselves back into the 5 seed. Not getting enough help in the last couple days, and 2 losses to the Miami Heat and to the Denver Nuggets. And the Kings have dropped down in the standings now to 8th place by themselves. All of a sudden, the Lakers a little bit closer, and the Warriors a little bit closer. So, I had a couple people tell me yesterday, I had someone on social media too go, well, Kings are just going to fall all the way to 11th. That's almost going to be impossible. That's the good news, that the 10 are pretty much set. Utah right now, even with the Kings losing the last 2, and keep in mind the Kings have 24 games left. So, they would have to be absolutely awful. Awful the rest of the way. Utah is, what is that, 6.5 games back. And you might think, well, that's not that much. It is. It really is with this many games to go. The Jazz have 23 games left. The Kings have 24 games left. And really, I say 6.5. It's 7.5 because the Kings have the tiebreaker already over the Jazz. So don't worry about that part. We'll just worry about how the Kings are playing. And to me, last night isn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Where it bothers me more so is pairing it with the Heat loss. So if the Kings had done what a lot of people thought they would or could and beat Miami and been 2-0 on the week and had the clunker last night, you could lump it into, well, Denver was motivated. They didn't want Michael Malone before the game was like, we're not going to be swept. And he was right. And throw in the fact that the Kings didn't have De'Aaron Fox. Understandable. But again, you did lose to the Heat, a game that was harder to explain. Last night, easier to explain. Denver's really good. They were motivated. Kings didn't have a key player and gave them a good shot early, but couldn't shut them down once it got cooking for Denver. And now the Kings go back to the drawing board. They will get Minnesota on Friday, another tough game coming up for the Kings. All right, let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Did it again. You know, you needed 33 points, and that's what you got tonight in another triple-double. What matters to you about this record tonight?
I think it's really special. I think it shows how great women's basketball is. There's been so many amazing players to come before me, and have laid such a great foundation for me to be able to play on this stage in front of crowds like this. You know, it didn't just start with me. It didn't just start with this team. It was all the people in front of me that have paved the way for women's basketball and players like myself. So more than anything, I'm just grateful to have these opportunities to play in front of fans like this. And it never gets old, Holly. Honestly, it's super special, and it's something that I never take for granted. And before every game starts, I just look around and try to soak it all in, because these are some of the best moments of my life. And if I can inspire young girls to play basketball and dream to be whatever they want to be, you know, life's pretty good then.
Well, Caitlin Clark is special. College basketball's biggest star, set yet more records last night. 48-point win for the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's the backdrop, but the headline story is Caitlin Clark becoming the all-time major college scoring record leader on the women's side, surpassing Kansas legend Lynette Woodard. Also another triple-double. Also the three-point record. She's just stacking up accolades, and I'm glad her perspective. I mean, I got to believe that she means it. I don't know that she can have a better time in her life than what she's doing right now.
It's really cool to see the crowds out coming to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of reminds me of when Mark McGuire was going for the home run record,
Mm-hmm.
and just people just having to be at the place to see it.
Yeah.
Like for themselves.
To say, I was there. And
Yeah.
you know you're seeing something special. And a lot of this starts to snowball courtesy of the media, but she's just an insanely great player.
How many people can get people to stay at a home game when the team is being destroyed by over 40 points?
Yeah. It's like, I don't care. I'm here. I want to see how much, where she will go, how many points she'll get, what number. I mean, another triple double too. It's just, she's been an absolute phenom, and it's been a boost for women's college basketball. Certainly, I don't even know when we go back to, when there's still some people out there that think, oh, these athletes shouldn't get paid because they're getting a scholarship. If that is you, I mean, whatever, you can think how you want. But to me, I don't even know how you could quantify the dollar figure of what Caitlin Clark is bringing into Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't even know. I mean,
people buying tickets, people watching on TV,
people traveling to go see her play. Now, that may not directly go to Iowa, but just the recognition, Iowa, and just, I mean, I'm sure they can look at clicks on their website, stuff like that, some quantifiable numbers, but just the intangible stuff of, us in California talking about Caitlin Clark, that we even know who Caitlin Clark is.
I mean, 20 years ago in women's basketball, we'd talk about Connecticut, Tennessee, Stanford.
Yeah.
Notre Dame a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, you're going 20. I mean, but it's grown to the level. It's really paralleled what men's college basketball did. It's seemingly now on the fast track where you get a dominant program. Stanford was kind of that. Tennessee at one point, then Connecticut. Like, it was almost unfair. People were like, is this even, remember that? Is this good for college basketball? Because Connecticut's winning everything. Well, it was good for women's college basketball because now all of a sudden South Carolina, Baylor, here they come. And now Iowa's great. LSU, you had maybe 1 to 2 to 3 teams that could win it. Now there's more teams. There's more great players. The WNBA was good. Now it's great, and it's only getting better, much like all this stuff is growing, and it's got to be one of the fastest growing sports because the impact of what people like Caitlin Clark are doing, and now so many more people are playing, so many more young girls are playing basketball and becoming better and better at it, and that jump of improvement of skills is just phenomenal. And Caitlin Clark is really must watch. All right, let's get to cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
All right, we really don't have any audio for this one, but we will have plenty to discuss about it. The NFL report cards are out, and this is one of those things where if you were a kid and you did not necessarily get good grades and you would maybe hide your report card from your parents. Did you ever have a time, Chris, where your report card had to get signed? Because I don't know. I know I didn't. Because I think that's a thing now.
I think at some point I did.
Okay. Did you forge it?
No.
Were your grades okay?
Yeah, my grades are always fine.
Yeah.
I think the lowest grade I ever got in something was when you get the warning
progress.
report.
Yeah.
The progress report. Like one time I had a C, but
Like,
usually
okay, I'll tighten up.
it's usually A's and B's.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, look, I know everybody learns at a different level. My personal experience, I always thought, was pretty much if you show up and you're there every day and you kind of do the assignments, you'll probably get a C. And that's if you're a terrible test taker. I mean, probably, right? Like if you're there and you do the work, you could probably scratch out a C. Now, if you do a little bit more and you do well on tests and I don't know if there's extra credit or stuff like that, then you're in that B and A range, and there you go.
I remember in high school, I went to a Christian school, and my friend, he was on academic probation for basketball because he was failing religion. And I'm like, and it was just because you needed to have higher than a D to get past academic probation. And that was a pass-fail class.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, if you rate Jesus for all of your answers, you'll at least pass. What are you doing? He's like, I just don't want to do it.
Oh, man. Just a little effort, just a small amount of effort. Well, in this case, on the NFL report cards, it's the players evaluating owners, coaches, teams, kind of the facilities, the training table, all the different things. And there's some teams that did just fine. And there are some teams that, boy, got Fs and F minus throughout the show today. Will kind of hit you as a through line on the team report cards, on the owner grades, on the coaching grades, and let you know how the Niners are graded out in all that as well. So we've got that coming up today. Much more on the Kings and their disappointment, their blowout loss in Denver. Kelly Brothers joining us at 7:30. Sam Amick at 8. When we come back, interesting night besides the Kings. We go around the NBA. A first for LeBron. Luka, the birthday boy, had a big day. All that and around the NBA when we come back on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the National Railroad Passenger Corporation.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Thursday. It's the final day of February, and we're looking at a cool start to the morning. Quiet conditions, but by midday to afternoon, expecting showers on and off again. It'll be occasionally breezy. Highs stay upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
No one does spring travel like Amtrak. That's because now more kids ages 2 to 12 ride for 50% off. Not only will you travel comfortably, you'll save too. Book now at Amtrak.com. Restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
You don't know the song.
Fire Falcon.
Whoa!
What is this from?
This is Will Ospreay's theme song.
I did know that. Back here on the show, Jason Ross, Christopher Laud, taking you till 10 o'clock. Thank you on our YouTube. They had said, I talked about that Angie Tribeca show. It was 4 seasons. The problem with 4 seasons now is that like 6 episodes. And, you know, what was the one I saw the other day? There's a commercial for, what was it? They said there was their 25th season.
Dancing with the Stars?
That or, oh no, that's The Voice.
Oh,
it hasn't
what?
been on, but I think because they might do, don't they? I don't know. I think they do a maybe a fall and a summer or
I'm
a spring.
guessing.
Because I'm like, they haven't been around 25 seasons. American Idol, like 20 something.
We remember when a season of television was like 23 shows.
Yeah, a full. Which some, I guess the mainstream. I get. Well, this was on TBI. I don't know. I don't know how they do this anymore. And where are you on that? Like, if a show or a series that you follow, like I guess Brooklyn Nine-Nine, did you wait for seasons to end, or did you watch that each week? How did you?
I watched it each week.
Okay. Yeah, I think a show, if I like it that much, like right now I watch Abbott Elementary all the time, and I watch that every week. Or Saturday Night Live.
Enthusiasm I watch every week.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we lost yesterday. Richard Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, in classic Larry David, you see his tweet?
Of course.
And it's like you kind of go, oh man, like, yeah, but that's him. Like it's I don't know. I don't know any other way to say it if you saw what he tweeted about one of his great friends who passed away. But
Richard Lewis was so good in one of my favorite movies growing up, Robin Hood Men in Tights. He was King Richard.
Yes. No, that was a slapstick.
That was where he would have the mole that kept moving on his face. And, oh, I think your mole moved. I have a mole?
But yeah, I think so it's different like Abbott Elementary or Saturday Night Live. I try to watch that weekly, but what was the one that we were watching? Only Murders in the Building has now done three seasons, but I want to wait till that's like they would release it weekly, but I waited till that was done.
That's what I did with Ted Lasso.
Okay, so yeah, I think people are adjusting on how they watch all these things. Well, last night you probably saw portions of the Sacramento Kings game, if not the entirety. If you saw the entirety, good for you, I guess. You're a glutton for punishment. We'll get into the Kings a little bit later. Also, our NFL PA Players Report Card review. Next up, we'll look at the owners' grades. And good thing Kansas City's got talent on the field. Let's just put it that way. We'll discuss that coming up here shortly. But let's look around the NBA last night and some things that I guess helped the Kings, but certainly what hurt them the most was their own loss as they got just – was that a dog walk, a boat race, both for the Kings?
Curb
stomped by the Denver Nuggets 117-96. No, around the league where the Kings got help, I guess. And again, this whole thing isn't finalized. That's why you play out all 82. Kings could still work their way back up the standings. The Pacers defeated the Pelicans. That helped a bit to drop the Pelicans back down to 35-25. The Mavericks, this is a good recovery win for them. Remember, they had the heartbreaking loss in Cleveland the day before where Max Strus hit that 60-foot shot to beat him at the buzzer. So they were in a back-to-back. They went to Toronto. Luka Doncic celebrated his birthday, and Luka had 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 16 assists, a triple-double in the Mavericks win over the Raptors. Minnesota, the Kings' next opponent, they picked up another win. They were in a battle all night with the Grizzlies, 110-101, and Anthony Edwards scored 34 points. They are now a Western Conference best, 42-17. And, when thinking about this perspective with the Kings, my natural reaction is to get them out of the play-in and get them into a playoff spot, a 6th or a 5th, ideally move all the way up to 4, but I think that's going to be a tough task. You want that for the sense of security where you're not in a 1 or 2 game play-in situation if need be. Now, the irony of that, the way the standings are going and the way they seemingly might stay, I just don't know if OKC or Minnesota will relinquish their top 2 spots. I think the better spot to be, personally, for the Kings is 7th or 8th. Now, I don't want them to be in the play-in. That's where the tricky spot here is. If they get to 6th or 5th, then you secure yourself as a playoff team. But right now, that looks like that would be more a look at the Clippers or the Nuggets. And I trust me personally, and I could be wrong on this, I would have more faith in those teams as playoff teams than I do right now against Minnesota and OKC. And probably part of my reservations on those 2 teams is them not doing it before, their lack of experience. The Kings have beaten them. They've beaten every one of those teams. They've lost to now every one of those teams. So I don't know which matchup is best. Last night was the first time we saw a fully healthy Nuggets team against the Kings. Now, ironically, the Kings weren't fully healthy, but that was a mismatch last night. So anyway, the Timberwolves got that win 110-101. And then the last game of the night, and actually I was here working Kings last night and was working on our show rundown stuff we're going to talk about. One of the things I wrote in there is Clippers win the Battle of LA, because I left here and the Clippers were basically routing the Lakers and got home, watched the rest of that the game, and the Lakers came from 21 down and had to change up some of the things there. So congrats to the Lakers on that. That's a heck of a win. The Clippers loss, I would say, doesn't do that much for the Kings, especially since the Kings lost. The Clippers now, if we update the standings, 10, it's the Warriors. The Lakers leapfrog them and go to 9. The Kings have fallen to 8 with a 2-game cushion on the Lakers. Remember, they still play the Lakers twice. So Sacramento better be careful there. The Kings are just a half game back of Dallas. They have 2 more matchups with them. They are a full game back of New Orleans and Phoenix. They play each of them one more time. They are now 4.5 back of the Clippers. They face them one more time. They're done with the Denver Nuggets. The Kings are now 6.5 back of them. They're 8 back of OKC and 8.5 back of Minnesota. They still play Minnesota and OKC one more time. So again, just to kind of reiterate, I think the Kings' playoff hopes would be best suited to play either Minnesota or OKC. That's my personal opinion. They want to get to 6th or 5th, but they would most likely play. Most likely, I still think Denver or the Clippers could jump up, but as of now, it would be Denver and Clippers in that 3-4 spot. So things to watch over the next couple of weeks as we are, again, winding down. This thing is cruising right along. All right, we talked about it. Let's get into it. When we return, the Chiefs, they're the defending champs. Everything is good about the Chiefs, right? Well, maybe not the owner part of that. We'll tell you what's wrong with the Chiefs and other teams, how they graded out on the NFLPA report card review. We'll look at the owner grades when we return.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
37,000, 25, 1. These are the 3 numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need to make the right business decisions instantly. 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down expenses. 1, because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need to grow, all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance absolutely free at netsuite.com/company. That's netsuite.com/company to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/company.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, I'm loving my new EQS SUV. It's the most amazing car I've ever had. In fact, when I'm on the road with the Kings, I can't wait to come back just to hop in that EQS SUV. It's lovely. Now, if you've been on the fence about purchasing your first fully electric vehicle, I'll just say this. Schedule a test drive and see for yourself what makes these vehicles so incredible. Right now, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is offering up to $10,000 in incentives on new 2023 and 2024 Mercedes-Benz electric vehicles. You'll also receive a wall box home charger and 2 years of prepaid vehicle maintenance if you purchase or lease any Mercedes-Benz electric model. So head on over to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, just 30 minutes from Sacramento, right off I-5, online at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sactown Sports.
Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot, Kansas City!
And this was the Andy Reid special. This was the Andy Reid special we talked about. He was saving all day. He's going to fake a motion to go across. And at that moment, he turns and goes back Hardman, who they didn't have, right? And they go get Hardman and bring him back. And the game-winning drive of Mahomes' career, he's been waiting for. He's won Super Bowls, but he's never had it in an overtime. He is the best. He is the standard. And Michael Jordan wins it again.
The Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl champs. They're going to try to go for a three-peat this year. And it's still a heartbreaking loss for the San Francisco 49ers. So everything seems to be, on the surface, good in Kansas City Chiefs land, right? They got the best quarterback, one of the best coaches, a lot of talent all the way around, great fan base. Things are good for the Chiefs. Well, yesterday, and we'll do this throughout the show, we'll check in on the coaching grades that was revealed, kind of team overall grades. But the owners were graded as well in the NFLPA yearly report card. This is, again, we talk about transparency in sports, and one of the beefs I have, I personally don't think the last 2-minute report is a good thing for the NBA. Others do. I understand the thought behind it and the transparency, but it doesn't do anything to change the scope, in my mind, of the mistakes that are made. I'm not even mad. The mistakes happen. I understand that and can appreciate that, but I think highlighting them doesn't help some of the perception that is out there. And so if a team lost on a really bad call and the next day that's validated, cool, thanks. We saw it. We know it. It was missed. What do you do about it? So the league chooses to do that. Here, the NFL Players Association chooses to release its results. Now, sometimes there have been things that have been released and there have been improvement. I know, for example, Arizona was one of the worst graded organizations on many levels from all the different things that they're being graded on. When we do the teams, we'll kind of talk about that. But stuff, the categories are like treatment of families, food, cafeteria, nutrition, dietitian, locker room, training staff, weight room, coaches or strength coaches, team travel, head coach, owner, all that stuff is being looked at to kind of accumulate the numbers and put what the report is on each and every team. But what's interesting to me is to have an organization, generally you want to be a championship organization on every level. That to me is the best way it can be done. That would be how I would try to do it if I was an owner of a team, someone in a huge decision-making decision of a team. Try to run everything at the championship level. Whoever you are hiring, whatever you are doing, you're not going to be perfect at anything, but try to hire the best at it. Try to have the best social media team. Try to have the best PR team. Try to have the best coaches. Try to have the best at, innovation and season tickets and promotion and all that kind of stuff that comes in. And then all the other things that are listed here, from facilities and locker rooms and treatment of families, because all of this ends up being constant recruiting and the word of mouth will spread. I mean, it will. And so people will go, yeah, it's a great team, but they don't treat their players very well. Well, that would be a factor in some of this. Now, you could have that special of a team, which the Chiefs seem to do, and it may not matter. I think their coaching staff is good. Obviously, their talent on the field is good. But apparently, all that is in spite of ownership. The Kansas City Chiefs ranked dead last in the league in ownership per the NFLPA survey. So that's Chiefs owner Clark Hunt graded out with the lowest rating, apparently because of his unwillingness to invest in team facilities. And some of his quotes after seeing this also make you think, okay, how tone deaf are you? And Chris, I go back to the Super Bowl. Now I can't remember this because I'm never really that infatuated with the post-game celebration that much. I like the raw, how players might react to one another, how they might react to the opposing team in kind of a congratulatory way. But once they get up to the podium and they're kind of just yelling at the crowd, but then when the owner is usually first, I'm never really, it's like, okay, let's get on to whoever's the MVP and the head coach and people we want to hear. I don't remember when they said, all right, let's hear it. Usually owners don't get an ovation, but I don't remember what the Chiefs' reaction to Clark Hunt was when he's first talking about the team. But maybe you don't even care at that moment because you just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and then what's bad is America is the only country that does that.
That lets the owners talk?
Yeah, every other sport in the world, owner isn't even on the field.
Yeah.
It's all about the players.
And I don't know how I feel about that because I don't want to diminish the owner's role in it, but you're right. To me,
it's the players.
When you're doing the slice of the pie in the championship, yes, you have to have the owner that writes the checks. Yes. But after that, do they call a play? Do they make a shot? Do they hit a home run?
Some of the best owners, we don't even know. Some of the best teams, we don't even know who the owners
are. Ideally, now we're talking about ideal owner. They spend they care.
Yes.
Let's go with spend and care because I think they're both are very important. And hear and listen to what the players are. They're not the owners aren't always right. And then and kind of stay out of the way. And you can't help it if people show you on TV. But Ballmer to me is someone that's super animated, so that kind of draws you to want to see his reaction. But I think that's who he is. We've seen enough videos of that's clearly his personality, like it or not. But I don't think he's a look at me guy. I think he's always wound up where it looks like, is he okay? What is he doing? What is he on right now? But I think he's
this excited for Windows 95.
Right, exactly. Whereas in this case, Clark Hunt just doesn't seem to get it. And he obviously did not grade very well at all. And
I would be very upset as a fan, and going to games and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars and then finding out wait, why are they having cold showers?
Yeah, my owner is not taking care of my guys, facilities, families. Sometimes some of this stuff is amazing to me that meals aren't provided. These guys are together all day, and sometimes they're not getting meals, or you have to pay for meals as a player.
It was mind-blowing. I talk about this all the time. When I went to Manchester City and I took the tour of the stadium, and just the type of thought and care that they had for their players that are on a whole other level. Everything that you eat at when you're there, everything is provided by the club. They take blood samples of players to see what type of vitamins and nutrients that they need to, because they are we're paying these guys a lot of money.
Let's maximize it.
We need to make sure they've got their own, it's almost like a hotel where they have their own rooms because they go and play in Europe and they come back late, midnight, 1 a.m. Instead of saying hey guys, go ahead and drive home. They say, no, stay here. You have your own room. They've got $10,000 beds to stay in. It's just so just to make sure that you'll get your rest and you'll be up to get ready for the next game you have in a few days.
Yeah.
And then here it's just okay, yeah, we'll give you childcare, but you got to pay for it.
Right. Well, you were showing me, what was there? A six room suite? The
3-story, 6-bedroom suite that Clark Hunt has at the Chiefs Stadium.
At the stadium that he has. And it looks nice. Everything about it's great. But yet, sometimes you're not taking care of the players. He was asked about his team's pitiful report card at a recent press conference. He said, quote, "We did completely renovate the locker room in the stadium a couple years ago, so I'm not sure which locker room the survey is referring to."
Dork.
I mentioned that the practice facility is something we're going to continue to think about. So we're going to think about it. It's coming up on 20 years. We certainly have in a lot of ways outgrown it, and we recognize we have a need to expand it and modernize it. We'll do it now. What is this? You've back-to-back Super Bowl titles. You've got a great team. Take care of your people.
Especially when you're the NFL, you have to cap what your players make. And it's sorry, we can't give you what you want because we are limited to what we could give you. Well, then you should make sure that they want to be there for other reasons.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bring them in. So you look at the very bottom of the team ownership grading. You have Clark Hunt, who got an F. In Pittsburgh, they got an F. Arizona got an F. Tampa Bay, a D-, Carolina, a D. The top of the top, Denver, Baltimore, Jacksonville got A's. Minnesota and Miami got A+. From ownership rules. We'll talk about what the teams did and the head coaches that got graded. Those will be some interesting notes from the NFLPA survey. We've got that coming up. But when we come back, life was not pretty without De'Aaron Fox in Denver last night. A awful performance by the Kings from the midpoint of the second quarter on. Blitzed in Denver. We've got that next on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor. The nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company, L1 report.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Oh, I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
Huge savings on our remaining 2023 Rams as we make room for the hundreds of 2024s arriving daily. This month, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And you won't find a better selection of new Ram trucks in Northern California with over 500 Rams available.
Well, that sounds like a good deal, but why drive all the way to Hoblet, Chad?
For 4 generations, we prided ourselves on being the small town dealer with big city selection and savings. When you buy from Hoblet, you're family, which is why so many of our customers come back and buy from us time after time.
Come to Hoblet and see what it's like to be treated like family at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 74.88 factory rebates and 75.12 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 case construction bonus cash. Must have purchased eligible with new case equipment to qualify and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be carrying a member of eligible first responder association. 5 with this net savings. Symbol VIN 7000008.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Thursday. It's the final day of February, and we're looking at a cool start to the morning. Quiet conditions, but by midday to afternoon, expecting showers on and off again. It'll be occasionally breezy. Highs today upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis. A two-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then
boom, with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
The screen, Joker rolls. Jackson had a notion, but he couldn't find him. So he goes to KCP. Oh, is he hot? And Tavius Caldwell-Pope now has 19 points as he knocked down his fourth three-pointer.
Brutal night for the Sacramento Kings in Denver. Welcome into the second hour of the show. Jason Ross here with you. Chris Verlot as well. No Carmichael Dave with us today as the Kings now have lost 2 in a row. Grand scheme of things, not the biggest of deal, but we're getting later in the year. Standings, as we've talked about, becoming more and more important. The Kings have tumbled with the loss to 8th. And Sacramento has, after Friday, I would say a little bit more of a favorable schedule. Not that anything is easy. And we know this group from the Sacramento Kings. You can't count anything, even if you look at the schedule and go, hey, that might play better for the Kings. Had a few people yesterday, once we heard word that De'Aaron Fox was out, like, hey, they're probably going to win, right? Knowing these Kings, I'm like, well, they could. I mean, I don't know that I don't want to keep labeling them because I don't think the narrative is absolutely perfect where you say, oh, if the other team doesn't have their guys, the Kings lose. We told you that the other day. The record doesn't indicate that, though they have lost their share of games when other teams have been undermanned. And I thought, well, maybe the Kings can do it this time. Maybe this is the time that they're undermanned, that they win, and they didn't. Without De'Aaron Fox, they are now 3-4 this year. And a little bit later in the show, besides the loss, I'm going to go over something from the game that bothered me probably more than anything that happened in the game, and it wasn't the performance, though I didn't really enjoy that at all. So last night, we look back at the game. I want to at least go to the positives were early, and that's about it for the game because I was really impressed with the way the Kings came out of the game, the way they defended. The part that I had my initial red flag up was in the first quarter when the Kings were 7 of 10 from 3. I loved it, but I went, this doesn't have staying power. I didn't think they would fall off a cliff. They would go 0 for 9 in the second, miss their first couple of the third, and they just weren't hitting threes. But it did start out well for the Kings.
In a traffic jam, to Monk in the right corner for a second chance. Now he attacks the basket, and he scores on the second opportunity. Sabonis will get the assist. Sacramento on a 6-0 run. They lead by 5 at 24-19. Great defense inside. Once again, Denver is denied at the rim. Here's a 3 on the way from Monk. He's got the triple. Make it a 9-0 run by Sacramento. And they've got their biggest lead of the evening at 27-19.
Yeah, early on, I thought the Kings played efficiently, effectively. I love the way Keegan Murray came out. He was super aggressive. He has to be like that, has to continue that with or without De'Aaron Fox. And I mean, De'Aaron, talking to G-Man in the pregame before the game, G-Man had seen him work out. There was some word about him being questionable. He went through the morning shoot around, so all things were encouraging. When we talked to Katie yesterday, she said if she had to bet, she thought he would play. The games are important. De'Aaron doesn't miss a ton of games. But when G-Man saw De'Aaron a little bit later in the day, he said, yeah, I'm having trouble walking. Like he was really hurting. The knee was bothering him. And so he sat out, and that's more important. You got to get him right, make sure he's good to go. I don't know at this point if there'll be any more time missed for De'Aaron. The fact that he went through shoot-around was encouraging, so he was really thinking about playing, but had to pull the plug ultimately on sitting this one out. So Davion got the start. Again, Kings got off to a good beginning, and even the early part of the second extended their lead.
Herter drives into traffic, reaches with the left hand, and he converts it. Another one of those little awkward two-pointers from fairly close range for the second time tonight by Kevin Herter. And the Kings now have a 13-point lead, and Mike Malone has called timeout.
All right, so the Kings would build that all the way up to as much as 15, and then boom, here comes the run before the half. And Denver not only established the lead, they established total control, and Sacramento was getting into one shot and out, maybe having some turnovers. They didn't have a high volume, but when they did turn it over, Denver just absolutely capitalized. If you think about it and look at that stat in the game, Kings turned it over 2 less times than the Denver Nuggets for the game, but Denver scored 15 more points off the turnover. So the Kings kind of lost their offensive rhythm. Denver did, again, what yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago after the Heat loss, I was trying to talk about common themes that were happening now for the Kings' 25 losses. I think one a lot of people will address is when they're playing subpar teams. Well, officially, the Kings this year, when they're playing teams that are below 500, they're 15-5. So you'd like to have a little bit better record, but that's not awful. Now, against teams above 500, they're now below the mark that you'd like to see. They were at one point doing much better there. Now they're below 500 against teams above 500 in the last 2 games, losing those. But so they've done okay there. Where I've seen some issues, again, is teams that have size throughout their roster. And Denver, though the Kings have played them well, but again, they've played the incomplete Nuggets, right? I mean, they haven't been the full roster that we normally see. Last night, when they had all the pieces of that starting lineup, Jamal Murray is a very, very talented guard. But I look at that front court where Michael Porter Jr. doesn't do a bunch of post-ups, but he kind of draws another prominent wing defender that you need, whether that's Keegan Murray or Barnes or Herter. Like you're in a tough size situation with him. And then Jokic is a matchup problem one-on-one, or if you double him, but it was Gordon to me. Like Gordon on the block was either going against on switches. They were doing that where it was Kevin Herter, where it was Harrison Barnes. He was just in that dunker spot. And once they kind of established him down low, he missed 1 shot. Jamal Murray then was effective. Jokic, I think, had 2 points early, but he ends with a triple-double. The teams with multiple bigs that can play down low can hurt the Kings. And the Kings are not the biggest of teams. I think they try to play physically at times. But this one got out of hand, and Sacramento couldn't stop it once Denver got going, and the run would continue.
Sabonis now hands it off to Keegan Murray in rhythm for 3, but he can't convert. I don't think the Kings have made a three-pointer in this quarter. They are now 0 for 7. There's Denver. Jamal Murray knocking down a 3 on the left angle. That was a bullseye. Makes it 65-55.
It was ugly from that point on. It didn't get any better for the Kings. So I'll ask you guys this on our text line at 339-1140, 339-1140, or on our YouTube if you'd like to chime in. Certainly on the phone lines too at 1-800-920-1140. Just how long did you stick with that game? We know teams can come back. I wasn't feeling it. I didn't see it coming. I mean, Denver at 10 at the half, I thought, okay, this is still possible, but it just didn't get better. In fact, it got worse. And so curious to see how long you stuck with that game for you Kings fans out there. And let's kind of put another capper on just this monster run by the Nuggets.
From downtown. 78-59. Sabonis at the free throw line, misses the 15-footer, came up, went 14 and a half. Lead out pass to Porter, runs to the rim, scores. Now this one's totally out of hand now. It's a 21-point separation. Kings have just turned it over again. Joker has it, lobs it inside, and being fouled. And somehow as he went to the floor on his knees, Jamal Murray just flipped the ball up over his head blindly, and it went in.
There was one stat I had made note of during the game that I found really interesting. So when the Kings led 47-32, it's about 7.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. There was about a 15-minute stretch where the Kings, I think, scored 15 points in 15 minutes. That's awful. But it was 47-32 Kings. Then when it was 100-68, a 32-point lead for Denver, their largest lead, that's the 47-point swing. But to kind of put it into perspective, it was 100-68. Denver had scored 68 points in that time from the 7.5-minute mark to whatever moment that was of the fourth quarter. And the Kings had 68 for the game. So Denver, I mean, the amount of scoring Denver did at one point from, I think, the 7.5-minute mark to the early third, or really, actually the last 7.5 minutes of the second quarter, what Denver had scored at that pace, I think they would have scored, if they continued that for the game, it would have been over 200 points. That's how crazy effective, efficient, and hot they were, and the Kings couldn't stop the bleeding. It absolutely couldn't stop it. And again, we'll go back to when you have a great win or just a win or a heartbreaking loss or a blowout loss like this, it is just one. That's the approach you have to take, and you have to move on. But, you know, you store all these mental notes in, and you look, if you get the Denver Nuggets, if you get them in a playoff series, you realize, okay, this is what they were capable of to you when they were fully healthy. You can naturally say it would have been different with Fox. Yeah, probably. How different? I don't know. I don't know if De'Aaron makes up that ground. It just, every game plays differently. And so now if it's closer throughout, I think the biggest thing in this game to me that life without Fox presented was when this onslaught of a run started to happen. That is probably amongst the many great traits that De'Aaron Fox has. He is the one guy on this team, I think he and maybe Malik Monk, that you can look at and just say, go get a bucket. Just stop the bleeding. I don't care if it may not be best in our best interest to become an isolated one-on-one team. But in this case, when Denver's hit you with a 10-0, 21-3, whatever the run continued to be, just get a basket. Get to the line. Stop the bleeding. Don't make this so outlandish that you can't come back. And the Kings were trying to run their offense, and there's nothing wrong with that in premise, in principle. But if you can't get the basket to score in any which way or form, and you can't stop them, you have no chance of a comeback. So, I mean, they miss Fox for a variety of things. But I think his ability to be that bucket getter when you need one was might have been the most important element of what they missed De'Aaron Fox for. So, will he be back Friday? I sure hope so. We don't know that answer yet. We'll get more reaction post-game from Mike Brown coming up. But when we come back, we're going to go 3 for Madness style. From Fire Wings, 3 questions, 3 answers, including Leap Day and a prediction for the next 4 years, the next time we have Leap Day. We'll have that and more with 3 for Madness next on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, Fire Wings brings you 3 for Madness each and every day. We appreciate Fire Wings, and maybe you can show them some love and head to the closest Fire Wings near you today for any of their 21 delicious flavors of wings. Fire Wings, just wing it. All right, Chris Verlaud, what do you have for us in 3 for Madness with question 1?
Today is Leap Day.
Woo!
What sports prediction do you think will be true by the next Leap Day in 2028?
Leap Day is weird, isn't it? Kind of just a weird premise that we get this extra day every 4 years.
Random.
What? I honestly don't know the answer. Why do we have this?
Because a full year around the sun is 365 and a quarter days.
Oh, got it. You had the answer.
I did.
Did you learn that in school?
When we went to the planetarium.
Did you believe everything they said?
That's the only thing I remember.
So there we go. So 365 and a quarter.
Yep.
Interesting.
So you have to take that extra day.
Yeah.
So you keep everything around the same time.
Otherwise, we would be out of control.
You could have Christmas and...
Yeah, we'd be moving up a day.
It would be like summer and Christmas.
Why
like,
is it
what
so
is-
hot? Yeah. A sports prediction that'll be true in 4 years. Well, sometimes people say this, and Doug Christie was famous for saying this, speak it into existence. I'm going to do one on a hopeful thing. So it has been a while for me personally. This is going to be a very selfish one, I guess, because I'm thinking about
Just like you.
Yeah, just like me. Thinking about this on the fly. The 3 teams I would say, or 3 of the, I'll put another one in there. Team. Okay, I'll add, let's see. Let's go with 4 now of the teams I'm most passionate about. So I would say the Sacramento Kings, UCLA football and basketball, the New York Yankees. And
so the UCLA counts as 1.
Okay, UCLA. So yeah, okay, we'll go Kings, UCLA, Yankees, and Sac State football. I'm gonna put those 4 together. One of those in the next 4 years is going to win a championship.
Okay.
I'm speaking it into existence. I don't even know if I believe it, but I'm going to do it.
I don't.
Hey.
Watch it.
Yeah. I was thinking when that question was first asked, I'm like, maybe something with the A's. I go, I don't know. I don't know where that's going. Something specific with a player or Kings or coaches. I don't know. But those 4, I'm going to just speak it into existence, whether it's the Yankees, the Kings, UCLA, or Sac State to win a championship. Do you have a sports prediction by the next Leap Day that you think will come true?
I've got 2.
Okay.
One, it's not really 2028, it's 2026, but it's going to be, I think Mexico is going to win the World Cup.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
I mean, U.S. is almost a home country for them.
Yeah.
And they're getting really good.
Okay.
So I think that they're going to do good.
Do they have one, or when was their last one?
They've never won a World Cup.
Okay. So that'd be great. Okay.
And 2028, on this date in 2028, I guess a few months into after this in 2028, the A's will still not be in Las Vegas.
Well, that's probably, when are they projected to be there?
2028.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess are we writing this down? Are we recording this?
Oh, have you seen like they did like verbal renderings? So they just wrote out what the stadium is.
How they described it. I did see that. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Yeah, get it together. All right, question 2.
Question 2.
LeBron James actually did a first last night in his career. He and the Lakers came from 21 down to beat the Clippers. That is his largest fourth quarter comeback of his career. Does that stat surprise you?
It actually did. When I'm like, LeBron, I mean, I guess there might be some reasons for it. For the majority of his career, I know he has a winning percentage, a positive winning percentage. So he probably hasn't been in that situation that much. But when you play 82 a year for the most part, you do have games when you're down. So I was surprised that was his largest comeback. It's actually a pretty good win for the Lakers coming back on the Clippers like that. And it was the Clippers home court, wasn't it? I think
no.
The Lakers were home team?
Yeah. Or was it? Yeah.
No,
the Clippers were the home team.
Yeah, I thought they were. So,
but,
I mean,
but there was like mostly Lakers fans
That's
there.
a quality road win.
Did you see what D'Lo did? After scoring, he shushed the crowd.
Yeah.
It's the whole Lakers fans
Are you
cheering.
shushing? Like, wait, that guy's in a Laker jersey, but that guy's in a Clipper jersey. Who's he shushing? Yeah, I was surprised. I definitely was surprised to see that stat. That's the largest comeback he's ever been a part of, 21 down. He's played so long. The other thing I saw during the game that showed the stat that all the people in the history of the NBA that have played 21 seasons in the NBA, they showed their point total combined in season 21. LeBron has more points than them by himself. I know it's not the largest list of players, but I've said it, I'll say it again, like or not on LeBron James, and I'm not even, this is not a GOAT conversation. That's just, nauseating conversation to me. But I think the thing you could say that LeBron James, without a doubt, is the best at that we have ever seen in the NBA is this far along in his career. No one has been this good. No one. I mean, it's not even close. So that he has been the best at. Doesn't make him the greatest basketball player of all time, though I think he's definitely in the conversation. But that in this far along, he's not going to win an MVP, but he's still one of the game's great players, is truly amazing. His draft class is gone, retired. Some are already in the Hall of Fame, meaning they've been out that long, and he is still thriving and playing, amazing basketball and making records like he did last night. Incredible. All right, let's get to question number 3.
Question 3.
The calendar flips to March tomorrow. What is your favorite part of the third month of the year?
Well, I would say in general, my least favorite months are January and February. I like Christmas time. And the reason for that is weather. Chris, I know you, Dave, you guys are more of the fan of the last couple of days have actually been pretty nice. Really nice.
See, you say that, but I hate cold.
Yeah, but you want it to be, 60s isn't cold.
I like overcast and low 60s.
Can we get into the low 70s is fine? That's not out of hand.
But it's gross when it's overcast. Like, it needs to be overcast.
Well, it could still be overcast and be like 72.
Yeah,
right?
but then it feels gross. It's like
feels too hot?
It's like there's like more humidity.
Huh, okay. So that's the reason I would say I'm not as big a fan of January and February. So March, I start to think of we're getting to spring, warmer weather, but not out of hand weather. But all that being said, it's not that. It's not, as a kid, I used to always look forward to McDonald's with the Shamrock Shakes. It's like, the shakes, they're green, they're mint, they're so good. Yeah, they're fine. I don't know.
Aren't they not mint?
Probably not.
I heard that like people just like think that they're mint.
That probably was a mental mind trick. Do they still do those?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't had one of those in probably since I was a kid. But it's March Madness. The NBA season will be getting closer to the end, and Major League Baseball will be beginning, but at the end of the month. But March Madness is great. I've always loved it. And another year, and I say this now every year, and it's becoming more and more true, sadly for me, I watched less college basketball this year than the year before, which was less than the year before. I used to watch that regularly. And so I won't know a lot about the teams, but I'm going to be all over the bracket and think, hey, Chris, I predicted that. I had UTEP. You see that pick? I knew that surprise. I didn't know. I just took a shot in the dark. 12/5 happens every year.
Is it weird? That's how I make my brackets now. It's like, okay, a 12 always beats a 5. There's always like a 13 or 13 or 12 that makes it to like the final, the Elite 8.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? I would have to do this in a some sort of poll, but when we used to literally have the paper bracket that people would fill out, I found that enough people would read just enough. So my example would be, however, I feel like people fill out the bracket top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right. In general,
Yes.
that's my guess. And why I would go to that is let's do the 5-12 example. So 5-12 in the first bracket, they pick the 5. There's the 5. There's the 5. Oh, I haven't picked a 12. It's almost always in the bottom right corner. It's like we're just a victim of like, oh, it always happens. But I don't think these other, for some reason, oh, this is the one. No, it's because it's your last choice. And so it's funny that I feel like more people in the bottom right have more of their upsets just because, ooh, I got a lot of 1-2s. I got to do something different. Here's a 1-4 in the final 8 in this right corner.
What's disgusting is my greatest bracket of all time. It was 2003, and I just graduated high school, but I was helping coach my old baseball team. And like one of the teachers, they're like, oh, we do like a teacher's bracket, but we don't play it for money. It's just for fun. I'm just like, okay. I got like the first 30 of the 32 games right.
Oh my gosh.
I got 14 of the 16, 7 of the 8. I've got 3 of the 4, and I had the finals game. I had Georgia Tech beating Syracuse, and it's when Syracuse beat Georgia Tech.
Oh, wow.
But like, it's like if I entered that with any money in anything, like I would have destroyed everybody.
Yeah. Man.
And I haven't even come close to anything like that.
Yeah, I'm in our pool that we end up having here that ends up having about 200 people. I'm going to be rock solid about 111th. That's usually where I'm, never the worst. For a while, I'll be near the top.
I think I got second once.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Wishing boots.
The wishing boot. Yes. The wishing boot. Yeah, March for me, it's March Madness. Love it. That's going to be here before you know it, and just a couple of weeks away. All right, coming up for us, sports business.
Good business.
With Kelly Brothers. We'll get his perspective on what we need to know business-wise. Still to come, more post-game reaction from the Kings' loss to Denver. Sam Amick joining us. It's a busy show, but we talk business, sports business with Kelly Brothers. That's next.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. Laporta's over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Been chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Get huge savings on our best selection of new Hondas during our Honda President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans and will help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
Joining us now on Sports Sense, certified financial planner Kelly Brothers. Kelly is an advisor with Cap Trust, one of the nation's largest registered investment advisors. Trust counts among its clients numerous pro athletes and pro sports franchises, but most importantly serves many Northern Californians through comprehensive financial planning. Here's Kelly Brothers.
It is that time, sports business with our guy Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust. I see Kelly still has faith and belief in the Sacramento Kings despite that blowout loss. Donning the Kings gear. I love it, Kelly.
Yeah, that's all I could find. No, of course I do.
Yes.
I have faith.
Good.
And that was disappointing. That was disappointing to leave the room for 3 minutes and be up 15 and down 10. But that's just the way that's just the way the NBA season goes, Jason,
yes.
You know.
As for sure we do. On your end of things, Cap Trust, this time of year, I imagine things, well, I know you're busy at all times. Is this a busier time, getting closer to like tax season and decisions on stuff like that?
Yeah, people start to, dive into their taxes a little bit, and that usually brings up a lot of questions, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
The tax time is actually the perfect time to actually do some financial planning because you've pulled everything out. You have your end of year values for all that you own. And so it's actually a very productive time of the year, I think. So,
yeah.
And if the inflation trend continues, then it should be an okay year. So we'll see. But it's there's always something to do, Jason, with
yes.
when it comes to money. By the way, a little tip for anyone who has kids, because I was talking to my kids about this last night. A great thing to open up when you start earning income, when you're 18 years old, when you're working at a fast food restaurant or doing whatever, open up a Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
You can put some money in there, and given the way our country spends money, tax-free money 40 years from now will be very, very valuable money. So Roth, remember, is money you put in now while you're at very low tax rates, and when you pull it out, it'll be tax-free forever and ever. Amen. And that's a great thing. But, if you start to phase out of that as your income goes up, so get it done while you're young in life.
Yeah. Very helpful tip there from Kelly Brothers. Kelly, what about, what tip would you have for John Fisher and those Oakland A's? This journey is not ending, and it's certainly not. They haven't landed this plane by any means going to Vegas, but the interim could be Oakland, could be San Jose, could be Salt Lake, could be Sacramento. What do you think the latest here is?
John Fisher, let me introduce you to West Sacramento. You need to know West Sac, John Fisher. And you know what I think? I think there's possibility there. I mean, it is one way to play the games and still be able to serve the NorCal audience you've built over the years, despite your mismanagement, John.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you come on up and check out West Sac? Yeah, it is a mess, especially when Vegas's mayor is saying, why don't they just go somewhere else? I don't know if it's because of the quality of the ownership group or if it's because she doesn't want any more public funding. But I mean, overall, pro sports has been pretty good to Vegas from what I could see. Whether it's the Raiders, the Super Bowl, the Golden Knights, they have sports just goes with Vegas hand in hand, I think. So we went, Jason, last week. My wife and I went to see to the Sphere. To see U2, and it was a gift to me on my birthday, and it was all that. It was everything you think it would be, and so I can't wait to see how they use the Sphere for drafts, for political conventions one day. I mean, it's a feast for the eyes.
I was going to say the visual stimulation of some of the stuff I've seen. I haven't been there. It just seems like was it a bit overwhelming or was it tolerable? Like, how did you take all that in?
Yeah, I found it as someone who kind of enjoys good graphics and the way they're put together. And remember, this is really even before AI has come out now. I mean, to think of what it could be like in the future. The one downside I will say, if you're a fan of going to concerts like that. I would say 3/4 of the people in the building were U2 fans, but there was a quarter of the people there who were just there to see the Sphere. They really didn't care about the band. It was just something to listen to while all the graphics and everything else were happening in the background. But an unbelievable facility. And so, I think Vegas would be a good home for the A's, but I think Sacramento would be a better home if we could pull that one off. And, the fact that Vivek now owns the River Cats and owns that stadium, he already has, major league cred, so to speak, because of the way he has turned the Kings. And, who's to say that he couldn't get a deal done? I'm not going to discount that, at least not yet.
Yeah, like some of the things we've talked about here on this show, and it's unfortunate that Dave's not here because he's he doesn't like the idea of giving an out for John Fisher and the A's if they truly can't land Vegas. My thought is if they have to move from Oakland and they're going somewhere, I'd rather see them come here. I'd like to see that entertainment. I know the A's aren't maybe the draw of other teams, but it could be as much as the baseball being here and what else that could do. But I wonder one area that I don't know if it's fully been fledged out, if they are forced to move from Oakland after this year and Vegas doesn't fully come to fruition and they get to Sacramento, is there any chance that they stay in Sacramento?
Yeah, and obviously that's a huge question because the only reason, as I understand it now, they've built that stadium so they could add a second deck and bring it up to Major League Baseball standards. They're only going to put the hundreds of millions into that stadium if they have some sort of a long-term lease. So I think it's possible. I think it's improbable. It'd be nice to think we could, but Vegas holds a certain allure. And, and there's a lot of Oakland fans of the Raiders and other teams who have moved to Vegas anyway or moved to Nevada. But I Sacramento would be a great baseball town. Although, let's face it, it is, if you've gone to a River Cats game on a Sunday afternoon and it's 104, what that feels like. So
yes,
it is, day games midsummer. That's you got to be a fan. Let's put it that way.
That's for sure. All right, let's bounce to football, Kelly. The NFL announced that the salary cap went up quite a bit more than a lot of people thought it would. That could help team like the Niners, who are looking at guys like Brandon Ayuk and a couple others they got to figure out. But what do you make of the new NFL salary cap?
Just the magic that is the NFL, the business model that is the NFL. $255 million is the new salary cap. It went up 30. The projection is this year, Jason, that each team is going to get from the league office $400 million.
Wow.
So you're getting, and that's $400 million for all the licensing, for all the national TV deals, all that. So here you are, you have to pay your players $255 million, or most people will be right in that ballpark. But you're getting $400 million. So you're $150 million over what you need to cover your nut for your players. And that doesn't include any of the local money. That doesn't include any of the tickets or the beer or the wine or the popcorn, or it doesn't include, your local radio rights. Now, granted, you have a lot of other expenses as well. You have an entire staff. I think, what did I read? Was it when the Niners were in the Super Bowl recently? Didn't they fly down every employee to Vegas? And I think it came out to be like 1,200 employees.
Wow.
Which is, so there are other expenses there, but what a business model. When your main expense is covered and then some by the league, and the values just keep going up. And that's why we're seeing little chunks of teams being put up for sale now as people try to get $1 billion out, but still keep control of their team.
Yeah, it's amazing. Football just continues to do well, even to the college game. Some of the flaws it has, but some of the greatness that we have with college football. Now they're talking about maybe even expanding that playoff. We're getting a new playoff next year, but they're talking about even larger, maybe up to 14 teams.
I love the debate on this, Jason, because people are passionate about this because, if they did 14 teams, that means the Big Ten would get 3 automatic berths. Wow. Can you tell me who the third best team in the Big Ten was last year? No. No one can.
Right.
Now, granted, it's going to be a much bigger conference. We're going to have some California teams in the Big Ten next year. But but this is 14 teams. The argument against this is okay. So 14 teams. So what is that? 3 additional games on top of 11 they're already playing, and
or
these
12
are,
even. Yeah,
11 or 12 if they're playing in week 0. So, but they are talking about it. However, they got to get this online now. But the money is just too good to turn down. I mean, you have, ESPN is the interesting thing about the ESPN contract where they paid billions for the rights is that they have the right now to sublease these games to another network. They have the right to be a broker.
Wow.
And say, hey, we paid X for it, but we can get double that. So we're going to give it to you, CBS, or we're going to give it to you, Amazon or Apple or someone else. By the way, I neglected to mention, they just sold another playoff game in the NFL to Amazon next year. They got $150 million. That was up 36% over what they got this year. So those rights numbers continue to go up. So ESPN is almost playing a little arbitrage here, saying, boy, if they continue to go up, we might sell off a few of these games, especially if it's a 14-team playoff, because there's going to be a lot of games to cover.
Yeah.
So I happen to, I like the idea of more is better, but boy, if they have to do that, they almost have to cap teams at 9 or 10 games. And then you got an issue with conferences that have 18 teams. And how do you do that?
Yeah, and guaranteeing that third team, is that third team going to be, 6
Indiana.
and 4? Yeah, it's 6 and 4, and you're like, they don't deserve to be here. Well, their losses are to the 1 and 2. Yeah, it's just.
Oh yeah, imagine, when you get, Notre Dame is a sore spot in all this too, because they're not a member of a conference.
Right.
But their deal is if they're in the top 14, they would get in, which is fair, which is more
Right.
than fair. But but you are going to come up with all right, is the number 3 team in the Big Ten, whoever it is, Wisconsin, Northwestern, UCLA, who knows who it could be, is the number 3 team better than a 11-1 Boise State team?
Right.
That's been the debate we've had all along anyway. So
exactly.
It's really just kind of, replowing ground we've already plowed.
Yeah. And it still feels like it's, there's chaos amongst the relocation, a realignment, I should say, of conferences, really no general structure. And this even, to just agree on a new plan and now to already think about expanding is crazy. And we haven't even seen the first one run through.
What they need, Jason, is a commissioner.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nick Saban could be the commissioner, but they need someone who has veto power over every conference and will simply do what's best for the sport. Because other than that, they're all in it for themselves. And, the commissioner right now, the commissioner is in college football, Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah.
He's the agent for nearly every SEC coach. He is the puppet master in the back pulling the strings. And that's not the way it should be. It shouldn't be someone whose livelihood and whose client's livelihood depends on those moves. It should be someone like a baseball commissioner or Roger Goodell. Love him or hate him, he acts in the best interest of the league and he reins in the owners,
Yeah. Well, something that they got to work on, that's for sure. Kelly, we always appreciate your time, all the tidbits that we learn from you each week in sports business. Have a great week, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Sounds good, Jason. Great to see you, and I hope Dave feels better soon.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate that very much. That's Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust Sports Business each Thursday right here on Sactown Sports at 7:30. When we return, we not only have our Jiffy Lube drive of the game. There was a good moment for the Kings. If you can remember what that is, let us know at 800-920-1140 or 339-1140. We'll talk about that when we come back, and we'll hear from Mike Brown on that loss in Denver. What went wrong for the Kings? That is next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
I haven't been this excited about a deal in a long time. Right now, you can save $18,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Jeep Gladiator EcoDiesels. This thing can get up to 28 miles per gallon on the highway, and it's the perfect combination of off-road fun and work truck. Plus, it's the #1 new quality vehicle among midsize trucks according to J.D. Power.
And you're selling them with an $18,000 discount? That seems a little crazy.
Well, we do things a little different here at Hoblet. We're here to help you find the vehicle you need at the best possible price. That's why we don't have a bunch of dealer markups, surprise add-ons, or fees. At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings and selection.
There's no better time to take advantage of this savings at Hoblet. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings, selection, and no surprise hidden fees.
18,000 total net savings after 11,096 factory rebates and 6,904 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. Qualify 5 with this net savings. Sample VIN 553-385. See dealer for details.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
It's been estimated that we lose more than 400 million golf balls globally every year. Hitting it in the fairway is a great way to prevent lost balls, but Golf Magazine's Josh Sen says, we can do better, people. First, play the right tees. The architect designed the placement of hazards for different handicaps. Second, find a reference point. Pick a tree, a shack, or a path where the shot was headed and keep it locked as you head off the tee. Third, maybe use a highly visible ball. You've got a better crack at tracking your ball if it's the color of a lemon or a tangerine. And anecdotal evidence suggests there's something freeing about knocking around a cartoonishly colored golf ball. 4, do not look away in disgust. A natural reaction to a slice or duck hook is to turn away. As hard as it is to find an errant shot, it's even tougher if you don't know where to look. And finally, be a good scout. Instead of fiddling with your phone, keep an eye on your partner's shots. The more time you spend watching, the less time you spend looking. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Progressive knows we're all trying to save right now.
Hey, at least we're still enjoying baseball on a Saturday night, right?
Even if it is T-ball.
Yeah, but tickets to the majors are just so expensive now. And who knows, maybe we're seeing a pro in the making.
Sure, in like 20 years. How is he safe? Boo! This ump stinks!
The ump is only 14. We don't really do that.
Oh, my bad. You're doing a great job, ump.
Progressive offers you savings without sacrifice. So save big when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, we're about 15 minutes away from being joined by Sam Amick, our weekly conversation with Sam from The Athletic every Thursday at 8. Thanks again to Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust, giving us the latest on sports business. As we start this next segment, Jason Ross, Christopher Laud here with you. We want our Jiffy Lube drive of the game. The Kings blowout loss. There was some highlights early. That's the hint. The drive of the game came early. Hopefully you were listening to the G-Man last night. The first one to correctly identify that will get a $100 gift card courtesy of our friends from Jiffy Lube. You can use that any which way you want, but you got to get it right. So 1-800-920-1140, 339-1140. The first one to check in on our Jiffy Lube drive of the game, Sunil, joining us. Good morning. Do you know the Jiffy Lube drive of the game? Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, do you know the Jiffy Lube drive of the game?
Yes, it was the 3-point buzzer beater at the end of the first quarter.
At the end of the first quarter. Do you know by chance who hit it?
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray. Let's see. Hang tight, Sunil. We'll see if you are correct.
Inbounds pass goes to Malik Monk. Double screen on top. Finds Keegan left wing. Steps into the triple. Scores it to beat the buzzer. The three-pointer is knocked down by Keegan Murray on a feed from Malik Monk. And we're going to make that your Jiffy Lube drive of the game. It wasn't exactly a drive, but it was a super assist off the inbounds pass from Malik Monk to Keegan, who popped from the top of the arc to the left wing.
There you go. It was correct. Congratulations. Hang tight. We'll get your information. You are a winner of the Jiffy Lube gift card. How long did you listen to the game for?
I listened to the whole game.
Wow. You're a glutton for punishment. I appreciate that. We appreciate you listening, and thank you so much for checking in. You are a winner. That is Sunil, who was checking in. First one in. Got it. There were others waiting. Needed him to miss his shot, but he called the shot. He got it right, unlike the Kings last night. All right, so thank you. We appreciate that. We will have another opportunity on Monday because we'll have a game on Friday. You'll have a chance to identify the Jiffy Lube drive of the game. All right, so let's get back into the Kings in general last night. Again, they played without De'Aaron Fox. I'm not they can win. You know, we've seen other teams beat the Kings without their guys. Certainly the Kings are better with De'Aaron Fox. That goes without saying. That wasn't the reason why they lost. I mean, that wasn't the reason at all. But what were some of the reasons? Well, let's hear from Mike Brown. He talked post-game on what he thought went wrong.
We just couldn't buy a bucket. We couldn't. The ball would not go into the ocean at that point in time, and we weren't getting enough stops. And we tried to stem the tide in the second half, but their pressure in transition, especially in that second quarter, was the result of them getting a lead. They had 20 fast break points in the first half. We did a better job in the second half, but the pressure and transition in that second quarter off our missed shots and our turnovers was the cause of the game. But
yeah, early on, the Kings were making things 7 of 10 from 3 after the first quarter. Then they missed their next 9 in the second, missed a bunch to start the third quarter. But when you aren't scoring, can you get stops? That wasn't happening. I think in that big run by Denver, De'Aaron Fox would have helped break up those runs. Some of it, he would have been able to get to the foul line or get a couple of buckets. He's the best one-on-one player on the team. They missed him for many reasons. That was one, but I don't know that it would have mattered yesterday. Coach was also talking about the Kings on the defensive side.
Defensively, I thought we were okay at times. Again, they shot 43% from the three-point line. A lot of that was Jamal in transition in that second quarter. And then once he saw a few go in, he's a great player. He just stayed in rhythm the whole game and continued to knock shots down. But the ones in the half court that they hit, we didn't do a good job of closing out like we have in the last 2 games, I'd say. And it resulted in them shooting 43% from the floor, from the three-point line.
Yeah, and a little bit later in the show, too, amongst all the things in the loss, I got a couple of points that probably bothered me more than any of this, and I'll discuss that a little bit later in the show. How about individually? Let's hear what he had to say about Fox, right? De'Aaron didn't play. We heard from G-Man on the radio side that just the knee was bothering. He didn't feel like he could move very well yesterday after going through shoot-around. Here what he was asked, Mike Brown, was about Fox and potentially playing Friday against Minnesota.
No, I don't. I haven't talked to our trainers yet or anything. They just said he was out. That's okay.
Yeah, so no word on his availability, I guess is how I should have led into that. Keegan Murray got off to a great start. I think we're seeing him attempting to be more aggressive, and we had a great highlight of Keegan late in the game. That was very amusing. It didn't matter, but I'd love to see that aggressiveness. Coach Brown talking about Keegan needing to stay in that kind of mindset.
Yeah, I've had, and I will continue to have conversation with Keegan. We want Keegan to be aggressive because we feel like his development is necessary for us to continue our climb as a team. And so not just because of tonight, but going forward, I'm always going to tell him, hey, be aggressive. Just because this guy's in the game or that guy's in the game, you go ahead and you take the lead. If you see any opportunity to take advantage of the defense or your defender, we're all for it.
All right, so more aggressive Keegan, the better. Keegan's stat line last night, 21 points, led the Kings in scoring, had 4 rebounds. No assists, did have some foul issues, and a steal and a block as well. Lastly, the Kings got to look at the champs again. They were 3-0 going into the game. I had looked up the stat before the game. The Kings, as the Sacramento Kings, this is their 39th year here, and they had never in any of the years swept the defending champions the next year. So, right, whoever won the title the prior season, and some of those are Eastern Conference teams, so you might play them twice. The one little caveat I thought they had the last year of the Chicago Bulls' 6 titles when Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, they basically blew up that team. The next year was the lockout shortened year, and the Kings didn't face the Bulls. And that was the start of the Rick Adelman run, Jay Will, C. Webb, Vlade, so on and so forth. The next year, they swept the Bulls, but it wasn't the following season of the championship.
Can I say that was the first year that they didn't lose to the previous champions?
You can say that.
Thank you.
And so last night was an opportunity after going 3-0 against Denver. They could have completed the sweep. It did not happen. Let's hear Coach Brown talking about those Denver Nuggets.
I mean, anytime you can go against a team like that, you're gonna take something away. And the biggest thing is just the constant pressure that they put on you, you know. And they tried to do it defensively, and early on we were getting great looks, and then they started getting some deflections, and we started making some bad decisions with the basketball. And as soon as that happened, you could see how hard they pushed, and they ran in transition. And then once they smelled blood, you can even see on both ends of the floor, their defense picked up a little bit, but even their offense. I mean, a couple of the cuts that Nikola made to the rim, you know, that's just in his setup. You know, that's just championship level basketball, just knowing and having a feel for how to get a foul, how to get a bucket, how to put pressure on the team. And, you know, one of the things we talk about a lot is getting paint touches. And we did a good job of that early on, but as the game went, we went away from it, and we kept trying to tell the guys, hey, keep touching the paint because the sprays will be there, and not just with the basketball, but with cuts too. And Denver does that a lot. They will play pick and roll, and they know when to cut a guy, when to hold a guy. Nikola is a very good decision maker, and again, all that was just in the flow, especially when they smelled a chance to take it to us.
And they did. Absolutely dominated. The Nuggets scored 72 points over that second and third quarter stretch, and the Kings scored 37. Wow. Sacramento was dominated in this one. Nuggets got to win their 40th of the year. Kings dropped to 33 and 25. More on this game, more back to that point, too, of that irked me the most, and the entirety of the 4 quarters. We'll have that later. But when we come back, Sam Amick, what's going on with the Kings? What's going on with the entirety of the league? What's he focused in on? We have our weekly conversation with Sam Amick from The Athletic. That to start the 8 o'clock hour next here on Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another 3-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Castrol Edge can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $36.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
37,000, 25, 1. These are the 3 numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need to make the right business decisions instantly. 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down expenses. 1, because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need to grow, all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance absolutely free at netsuite.com/company. That's netsuite.com/company to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/company.
Hagen Oaks is introducing the newly designed Callaway Chrome Tour line of golf balls, offering outstanding tour performance. From cover to core, Chrome Tour is the new gold standard tour ball Ball for players who want the best in distance and feel. Chrome Tour is engineered for outstanding performance with exceptional speed, consistent flight, incredible spin, and greenside control. Ask about the full line of Callaway Chrome Tour golf balls at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 911.
Checking in with the one, the only Sam Amick. No matter how we do it, and today it's going to be via the telephone. We'll miss seeing his pretty face there on the big screen, but Sam joining us here on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good morning, Jay. I'm doing great. Sorry for the adjustment. It's one of those quasi-hectic family mornings, so we'll make it work.
Everything good, though? You guys out and about and on the move and just hectic stuff going on this morning?
Oh, yeah, we're taking little man to school. Usually he has other means of transportation. Those are not available today, so hence the adjustment. But, yes, all is good.
Okay.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. I mean, I'm trying to, sort out these Kings. I think this season, I had someone ask me, like, what do you think is going to go on the rest of the way? I said, probably more of the same. I mean, some good, some bad, some head scratchers, some impressive wins. I mean, they really have the whole grab bag of a season. The season has been good. It hasn't been great, and they're kind of in that stretch where, I mean, I love Sunday's win against the Clippers. Was kind of disappointed with the Heat loss last night. Was a little bit predictable, but I don't know. What's your opinion overall, and just kind of the roller coaster that has been the Sacramento Kings?
No, I mean, you captured it well. They're just incredibly inconsistent. The Miami game. I mean, on the one hand, predictable because they've done that before, but you're looking at it going, okay, you've done it quite a few times at this point. So, the mentality should be different. You just find a way to beat a team that's down so many guys, and they still couldn't do it. Then I'm watching the Denver game, and admittedly, when they're up 11-12, you're kind of, especially with Fox out, you're thinking, okay, there's no way they're going to hold on to this lead. But the speed with which they gave it up was impressive. So they are, they're like you said, they're a good team. They're not scaring anybody. And in terms of what they want to accomplish, which is to not only get in the playoffs, but get out of the first round, we can only assess the right here and right now, but it's they don't look very strong. They don't look very, very deep, very consistent. And honestly, they show flashes of like extreme competitiveness, like the defense in that Clippers game. Mm-hmm. And the Miami game when they almost came back from 20 down or whatever it was, but the flashes are just not enough to make you go, okay, this team's in a good place.
Yeah, that to me is where, I mean, look, I've done this long enough, you've done it long enough, but when I saw the last win before the All-Star break, which I was really impressed by against the Nuggets, the streak, the mini win streak out of the All-Star break and the win against the Clippers, like after that one I went, all right, this is the first time I felt like maybe there is more here. Maybe they can win a playoff series because we'd seen enough of the other times where you go, I just don't know if there is enough there, to your point. And now I'm kind of in the spot, Sam, where if they – well, I think they'll be in the top 10. I think they're pretty safe there. But I feel like it's got to be the right matchup for them to get through, and I honestly don't know what the right matchup is for them.
Well, what's funny about that, and I do agree, is that some of these teams that they've had surprising success against have now gone on to be even more intimidating or daunting.
Mm-hmm.
Like OKC comes to mind. You know what I mean? Like, if I remember correctly, they've showed out pretty well against the Thunder. Well, now it's like, I don't know, man. The Thunder have really found themselves, and they're literally competing for the top spot in the West. Minnesota's a tough matchup, but the matchup's going to matter. The disclaimer that is, I'm not going out on a limb, but I did think about this the other day. This season is so funny, and this particular mix of teams is so unique as far as the parity that, like, who the hell knows? They get in the first round, the mood could be bad around the team, and they shock the world and they win a series. But it does feel like something's missing. Fox obviously has been dealing with the shoulder and dealing with stuff, the knee now, and he's fallen off a little bit. But I kind of just go back to that idea that they wanted to be a team that did kind of scare people, and they're not, and that's just, I think, a reality.
Yeah, and they're going to have to look back on that, on the decisions they made, not just, trade deadline, but the summer, and electing to bring it back made some sense too. And, they did have a good year last year, and some things are paralleling that. I think what maybe they didn't see coming was this truly is a year where the West is that daunting. I think there's been a couple times it's been framed that way, and I kind of pushed back the last couple of years, Sam, where I didn't think it was, at least at the bottom. I mean, I think there was a year the Kings were, when they didn't make it, but they were fighting for the 10 seed or trying to get in the play-in. Maybe the Spurs got there at like 33 wins. Well, that's very reachable. The Kings are already there now, and they're in 8th. And the Lakers and Warriors are above 500, and there's still people that think, hey, if everything goes right, maybe they could get out of the West. So that top 10 is far more competitive this year than I think it's been in the last 2 to 3 years.
100%. I mean, that you don't want to. You're not. I'm not going to take anything away from what they did last year, but they didn't. You talk about scaring teams. They didn't scare teams last season as much as a 3rd seed typically would. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that was the unique part of last year, and now I think about the Warriors. Actually, I've been debating with people recently because the Warriors at this point have won, I think, 12 out of 15, 12 out of 16, something like that. And so you ask yourself, all right, can they get from 10 to 6? Because, Steve Kerr has identified the 6th spot as a target. And at face value, I think when I looked at it last, it was 3.5 games for them to get up to 6. And that feels pretty doable. Well, the problem, and again, this is what is so hard for the Kings, is it's like, oh, by the way, the teams in the middle there are the Suns and the Pelicans and the Mavericks. Like, these are teams. Think about those 3 teams. Suns, if they had Bradley Beal, were literally like the latest so-called super team in terms of star power. The Pelicans, flawed though they might be, you got Zion, you got Brandon Ingram, you got CJ McCollum, all this, high-level talent. The Mavs, of course, with Luka and Kyrie. So you're not talking about your kind of run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-pack teams. These are pretty dynamic teams when they're at their best.
Yeah, and I think the teams, you're right, that catch the most of my attention as far as intrigue about the rest of this year and going forward. I would put the Warriors, the Lakers, you mentioned the Suns, and maybe the Clippers, because I feel like they're all the closest to it's got to be a championship or what. And I don't know what the what means, if that's a breakup or something different. Maybe it's not as drastic as that, but they're all kind of invested in that way. Do you agree with that on the Clippers, Suns, Lakers, Warriors, and none of them may get it, but they're all kind of in that championship or bust mode?
I would probably Clippers more than anybody, because of the structure of their contracts. They re-signed or extended Kawhi Leonard, obviously, and Paul George probably gets done. James Harden going to be a free agent. Steve Ballmer has been very antsy with these years of load management and now has his new arena coming. So the pressure there is, I think, greater than the others. The Lakers, it's funny. I mean, if nobody with the Lakers or LeBron himself would say this out loud, but it just feels like they just want to compete at a high level, entertain fans. The Lakers always need to have a star. Make sure LeBron finishes his career in a Laker jersey. I see that one a little bit differently in terms of title contention. Sorry, Jay, you can probably relate here. I'm enjoying getting tailed by a fellow parent as I come into school.
Keep it moving.
Do you mind if I get in a fight here on live radio?
Actually, I really encourage it.
It's hilarious. I should air them out.
Are you good? Are you
on live radio?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. So who else do we got? Warriors in there. I mean, Warriors, they're kind of like the Lakers. They want to talk about titles. They just need to be a really good team.
Okay.
I feel like I'm leaving one of them out, but
we said Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, I think Clippers to me is the only one there that really is pushing for it. Even Suns, Kevin Durant obviously isn't getting younger, but they've just had so many injuries this year. They do have an excuse. We'll see if they can pull it together at the end. But again, I just go back to that word of like fear and scaring teams. Like those teams have a greater capacity to, I think, intimidate the opponent right now than the Kings do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I totally agree with that. So like as you look at, I think the 10, I feel safe that the 10 are set. Now what order, that's changing every night. But as you look at that, I mean, the 2 at the top are kind of nice, surprising stories in Minnesota and OKC and have the least amount of playoff experience. The champs are right there at 3rd. The Clippers have been as good as anybody for the bulk of the year once they kind of figured it out. Do you have someone you're leaning to, like if you were to handicap this and said, I'm going to pick this team to get out of the West? I think that's a tough call, but where would you lean?
I probably got to lean, and I've been really slow on this, OKC, because I can't wrap my head around the fact. You're saying get out of the West?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Minnesota's offense, Jekyll and Hyde quality, I guess, is something that is, eventually probably going to trip them up, even though a very strong defense. I don't necessarily trust like a Karl Anthony Towns to be that guy in moments in the playoffs when Ant is getting doubled and they're trying to find another place to get offense. But OKC is just incredibly balanced. Last night watching their game, looking at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's numbers, which I knew how good they were, but there's a couple things come to mind. First of all, they compared him to Michael Jordan's first MVP year, and they basically were the same, which is just, that'll get your attention. But man, the defensive side of the ball, when it comes to Shai in particular, who as an aside, I'm having to figure out like, man, where is he at on my MVP list? The guy is getting steals and getting deflections. He is a two-way player in every sense of the word, and they just don't seem, kind of spooked by the moment at all. They, Mark Daigneault quietly has done a great job coaching the last couple of years. So I don't know. I like what they do. I like how they function, and they just seem to be wired in a certain way where they're not really shook by some of the acclaim that's coming their way. So, top of mind, that would be the one that I guess I could see a little bit.
And you think about where they are, whether that comes their way or not, compared to the teams we just referenced, like the Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Suns. They are so young and so loaded with future assets. Like they are in such a terrific place right now.
Oh, it's crazy. I had that same thought watching that same game, and I don't know why I'm blanking on who they played last night. But yeah, it's like, man, what do you do when you could go out and trade for a star, but like, I don't know, you're like, if you're at the top of the West, what are you trying to accomplish? You know what I mean? You probably need to see this group through. So let's say, they're pretty happy with how everything's finished in the playoffs, and now you've got this cupboard full of assets. It's a good place to be in. It's a good problem to have, but it's tricky nonetheless, because a lot of times, a trade looks a certain way on paper and you think it's going to make you better. And you might actually take a step back because you mess with the chemistry or whatever, might've happened in that deal. But I can't remember ever seeing a team that was this good, that was that well positioned to go out and do whatever they wanted on the trade market.
Yeah. As we're talking with Sam Amick from The Athletic, and might be in a fight near you. Everything good on the drop off there?
We're good, buddy. We're
okay.
good. We're good. Thank you.
You brought up the MVP race. I think this is good. It's compelling. I think Jokic might be the lead, but that I could be wrong on that. Tatum, SGA you mentioned, This is also a good race, I think, and maybe it shouldn't be decided yet. Maybe the last 22 to 25 games will be the dictator. Do you have a leader in that at this point?
So, I mean, I've had Jokic, probably still have Jokic. You know, I think from there, the question begins a couple things. If the Thunder are the number one seed, then I think I'm going to have to look hard at that and decide, you know, in terms of impact and truly, that's going to be for sure one of those where you try to get a few coaches' opinions and, you know, get outside the numbers a little bit to just basically ask people if they think you're nuts for possibly thinking about giving it to him. But, you know, I think he's more on that short list than he was before. Luka still comes to mind, depending on, I mean, the Mavs are too far down, I think, for Luka to get it, but he's having just an incredible year, and he's so much fun to watch. And obviously, when Kyrie's out there, they're actually functioning pretty well. Giannis is another one that I would say don't sleep on, because the Bucks have gotten a little better the last couple of games. You know, small sample size, and obviously got off to a tough start with Doc Rivers. But if they can make headway in the East and get closer to Boston, his numbers and his impact are pretty historic, pretty, you know, impactful. The Tatum one is, you know, that's a discussion in and of itself, where there is part of me that, you know, we talked before, Jay, about how this MVP calculus is so imperfect, but there, you know, a lot of former players especially tend to kind of fall back on the best player, best team formula. Now, it's not that simple, but my God, Jason Tatum is pretty damn good, and he probably doesn't get as much shine as he should. And, you know, it's because I think for one, he's just not the playmaker that so many of those other guys are. He is a two-way player. He also has a deeper roster where you look at it and you say, okay, the gap between him and Jaylen Brown is smaller than it is for a Jokic to a Jamal Murray, or even a Giannis to a Dame, or whoever else you might want to look at. But I think Tatum's got, so it's a pretty interesting race right now for sure.
Yeah, that's where I fall on Tatum. There's no doubt he's gifted. I mean, he's one of the game's greats. I feel like every time I watch Boston, I think so highly of Tatum, but I land on the same spot. I go, man, Jaylen Brown might be their best player. You know what? Derek White, where would they be without him? Porzingis is unbelievable. Oh, Holiday, what a glue. Like, it just feels like certain nights Tatum's important in all of that, but some nights it feels like there's someone else that is equally important or better on a certain night, where it shouldn't really be a punishment to Tatum, but I feel like I go there with him sometimes, and maybe that's wrong in my thinking.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's a little bit like, you know, different caliber, or at least different resume, but Anthony Edwards, so far anyway, I think has got a similar problem in Minnesota. You know, where they're deep, in the way that they're beating teams is sophisticated enough, if that makes sense, that the credit, you know, if you had a pie graph divvying up the credit, there's just going to be more names on there than there would be for a lot of teams. Yeah. So, but you know, you try not to forget, especially that, like, you know, even in this like offensively crazed era, the defense does matter. And so that should, you know, you lose brownie points if you're Luka. Now Jokic is an interesting one. You lose less brownie points than he used to. Like, he's become a plus defender, and a guy that is typically part of really good defensive units. And you hear other bigs talk about, you know, Jokic and the way he's improved defensively, but he's no Joel Embiid, he's no Giannis. So you lose a few brownie points there. So both ends of the floor should be taken into account. In that regard, Edwards gets, you know, some love on that end. He's a very good, especially on-ball defender. But you know, with Tatum, there's just something about it. He's just like a high-level kind of 1B player. Yeah. I think is how he's kind of widely perceived.
Yeah, it would be interesting. It's not the case, obviously, but maybe in the first 20 games of the year, the way De'Aaron was playing, we're talking about him at maybe the back end of the early MVP conversation. Then there's been a stretch here where Sabonis has gone nuts, and hey, he's not the MVP, but he's played like one. Where if the Kings were, for example, having the OKC or the Minnesota year, I don't know, you know, how you would parse the difference between Fox and Sabonis. But I mean, it's not the situation, but that could be kind of a similar argument, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I was admittedly kind of surprised yesterday seeing Kendrick Perkins caving for Sabonis to get some MVP love. I mean, you're not going to get it when you're fighting for the position they're in.
Right.
But I would agree with him and have been kind of vocal about this, that Sabonis has not gotten the credit he's deserved for his year. I mean, he's been remarkable, and some of this stuff, we don't need to overthink it. When you start seeing numbers that, where guys like Jokic are the only ones who have done things like Sabonis is doing this year, in terms of triple doubles, in terms of, efficiency from the field, he's been remarkable. But yeah, you're right. Like the way they function is they're going to fight like the All-Star fight every year, where it's going to be most likely both guys don't get in from the Kings. So which one do you pick is always going to be a tough question.
Yeah. Talking with Sam Amick here from The Athletic. You can always read Sam's amazing work there and all the stuff he's working on. I'm sure this is going to be an area that's going to be featured a little bit more. You brought it up earlier about the offensively crazed era we're in. That could be fun. That could be good. But it seems like it's catching a little bit more attention from the league, and the front office is there. What would that look like? What's kind of their course correct you think they want to see in the near future, if you're getting any hints of that?
I mean, I don't have a great sense just yet. What comes to mind first is do they do something different with defensive 3 seconds? I could certainly see that being a focal point. It's funny because I do think about JJ Redick had a rant recently talking about how if you looked at the league's rule changes recently, the irony is that quite a few of them have been done to help the defender, whether it's getting rid of the Kevin Durant rip through or the Trae Young kind of stutter stop in the lane where you hit the brakes and the guy runs into you. These little tricks that offensive players were doing to game the system, they've tried to litigate some of those out. So it is funny. Like it's probably not enough, but they've tried to do little things that at least made the game not appear gimmicky, but they might need to do more. So does hand checking become part of the conversation again, like the old days? I don't know what it looks like, but I think that the league office, man, I would pay a lot of money. Well, that wouldn't be very ethical. I would love, to be a fly on the wall in the league office these days, because in the wake of All-Star Weekend, where it was pretty obvious that Adam Silver was not happy with the way the players handled, that game, and that obviously symbolized the whole scoring problem. It seems like this is a tipping point where I think Adam and Joe Dumars, who is now kind of his right-hand man, and that crew, with Mark Tatum and Byron Spruill and the entire NBA brain trust, that they are trying to find ways to put this genie back in the bottle, and we'll see if they can.
Sam, what about you? What's catching your attention? What are some of the things you're going to be working on here that we can read soon?
Well, I just came out of the Warriors world. I enjoyed writing about Klay Thompson the other day and kind of his adjustment to the 6-man life. I really enjoy. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like we're in this space where there's a lot of older players that, in terms of coverage, like I'm enjoying trying to tell a few of their stories as far as like Father Time kind of knocking on that door and how these guys handle it from a spirit standpoint, if that makes sense. So getting a chance to connect with Klay and find out how the hell he's doing. We sometimes, I think, are guilty of just saying, oh, this guy makes $43 million a year. Who cares? He's fine. It's like sports is sports. And if you don't play like you expect to, then, your mentals are not going to be great. So I enjoyed writing that because it was a little bit about how Klay, has had to make this adjustment, and guys on the team say that he's managing okay, and they actually didn't think he would. So I find that not only interesting for Klay, but in the context of the Warriors, it's like, I compared it to somebody like a game of Jenga. Klay is one of those pieces. If he can't handle the 6-man role, then that whole thing is going to come crashing down, because there's this ripple effect from there, with other guys needing to sacrifice as well. And if they see him being selfish or worrying too much about his own stuff, then, it's not going to work. So the Warriors stuff is interesting. I know we got, what's that game Monday? We got Chicago coming into town against the Kings. So I'll be out at that one. We have we're chipping away at our annual anonymous player poll that should come out around playoff time. So look out for that. But just a little bit of everything right now.
Yeah, I always like that because there's always, I know when sometimes either it just comes out or before it comes out, I've talked to you about that, and there's always something that surprises you. That's always kind of fun. I don't know if you've started that, I've gotten any of those surprises that you'd be comfortable leaking, but I think that's always fun to kind of really get the voice of the players and what they're thinking on some of the things you ask them.
Yeah, nothing quite yet. I agree. I like doing it, and I think the fans and the readers like it a lot, and a lot of players like it. You see their eyes kind of light up when you tell them that it's anonymous, like they can actually speak their mind.
Yeah.
And then I'd be lying if I didn't admit, like, it's fun to do because you obviously never share who said what,
right?
But you learn little things about guys along the way, like, and you don't ever forget. You know what I mean? Like, just little things that might give you insight into, how they see the game or how they see certain teams or certain people. It's just a level of candor that a lot of times is tougher for us to get to. So, we're just getting started. It's a staff-wide thing. It's heavy lifting, man. Like, we're trying to get, I think we had 108 players last year, trying to have at least a couple guys from each team. Hopefully that comes together pretty well.
Yeah. And I does anybody kind of pass on that? I mean, you pretty much get, if you ask, do you get people to participate?
No, it can be, there's some team pulling sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, it's a combination of you try to, access is tougher than it used to be these days. So part of it is, can you just organically catch a guy in a locker room or at a practice, and say, hey, would you mind doing this? That works sometimes. Admittedly, sometimes it's easier if PR staff are willing to assist and kind of grease the wheels and tell their guys what the project is. So it's a combo of those two things. You will definitely get guys like within the conversation or the interview who don't want to answer individual questions. And that's the challenging part, because some of the most interesting answers are stuff that like guys typically like, one to highlight it is like, who's the most overrated player in the league?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes guys are like, oh, I don't want to talk, about somebody. And it's like, admittedly, we're not necessarily trying to get you to do that, but like the media does hype certain people, and we're curious what players think of, like, how does that juxtapose with what players actually think about their colleagues? So it's like when you get enough guys to give you an honest answer on a question like that, that is some of the most revealing, interesting stuff, but also some of the tougher stuff to get to.
Well, I look forward to that. I always enjoyed that every year. I know you enjoy the work. It's a lot of work for you on that one, but we look forward to that when that comes out. Also, everything you do there at the Athletic, Sam, we truly appreciate, and your time each and every week. And we're glad you stayed out of any kind of altercations this morning.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Sam. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
All right. That's the great Sam Amick joining us here from the Athletic. Again, we always appreciate Sam. I know it's one of our more popular segments each and every week. So thank you so much to the great Sam Amick. All right. More on the Kings and their loss. We'll recap the 3 in the key for that game from the Kings and Nuggets, our prediction. We got one pretty stellar one right yesterday. We'll let you know what that is, who's hot and who's not. But when we come back, jump back into football, the NFLPA, kind of what Sam's working on. This was, I guess, anonymous in a sense, but the report card has been revealed, and some teams graded well, some did not. But we'll go into the head coaching grades. Who was at the top of the list? Who was at the bottom? We'll let you know next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year. all-stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox. A breakaway. He stopped the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Book your free T-check and free exam at Revive Men's Health Sacramento. Now also offering affordable, cutting-edge weight loss medications. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
One ticket, two shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at twohugeshows.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Fidium Fiber Internet is fast becoming a hometown favorite. With a dedicated connection and speeds up to 2 gigs, Fidium is winning over fans every day. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can experience the best internet in the game. Visit FidiumFiber.com.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
I just can't control my feet.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th. World One presents The Jacksons with Sister Sledge. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com.
Carmichael Dave.
He's got very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sactown Sports.
All right, back here on Sactown Sports. Jason Ross here with you this morning. Christopher Lott as well. We take you till 10, and then later in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have Styles and Watkins, Big Al and C-Dub in We will get their perspective on what they're going to be talking about today. We spent a lot of time about the Kings and the NBA. Really good to talk with Sam Amick. Again, anything you ever miss on all of our shows, you can listen to them on your own time. Whenever it's available and convenient for you, go back to sactownsports.com or our YouTube page. And certainly when you're there, subscribe, get all the alerts that you're looking for. But you can go back. The shows are podcasts for you, and you'll be able to listen to them at your own time or any specific interviews. It's all there for you at sactownsports.com. All right, yesterday around the NFL, we mentioned earlier the owners' grades were released. This is all part of an NFL Players Association survey from the players where they're basically grading all sorts of things. This year, something new that they added was the head coaching grades. And I thought we would reveal some of those and some interest. I think the one that was interesting to me was, you always look at the outliers. Who's graded the best? Who's graded the worst? Well, the absolute worst grade went to the Raiders head coach, Josh McDaniels, former Raiders head coach. And I really feel like there needs to be more unearthed about what was going on this season with the Raiders. Obviously, a complete culture change, and there was some sort of disconnect with Josh McDaniels and his players. I don't know what it was, but when you hear stories about the coaches lost the locker room, that feels like it's case study number one. The Raiders just didn't seem to, maybe they liked him personally, but didn't like his coaching style, or just at some point when you get that term, you've lost you just don't even want to hear them. You don't believe in them. A lack of leadership, and probably some of you out there have that in your own workforce or whoever you work for. Maybe there's a boss that you don't like his or her style, and it just doesn't feel right. That's in a lot of places that can happen. But in this case, to be successful in a sports situation where there's so many people trying for the same thing and competing at the highest of level and driven people, you just want someone you want to lockstep with and feel good about. And that usually the successful teams have the coach, coordinator, quarterback kind of triumphant, and with both coordinators all in communication, all feeling good and going in the right direction. And when you look at the bottom of it, Josh McDaniels was rated 32nd. Bad grades for Ron Rivera. These guys are out of jobs. Arthur Smith with the Falcons. The surprising one near the bottom was Hall of Famer Bill Belichick. He's also out of a job. Did not grade very well from New England. Now, you go towards the top.
What did he say about that?
Who, Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really. It's on to the. We got the Falcons on.
So I don't really see what the point of these types of
it's just
one person's opinion.
I'm not going to answer a question like that. Next. So he didn't grade very well near the bottom. Now near the top, you want to see where Kyle Shanahan is. He did just fine. He was in the top 10. In fact, 5 on one of the lists here. The very, very top, though, Andy Reid. So we've talked about.
Wait a minute. The guy who was the coach of the Super Bowl winners
graded the best.
Graded the best.
Guy who's been a very good coach wherever he's gone, but also the coach that had his owner rated the worst. That's a little bit odd. So Kansas City got rated poorly by their ownership. We'll do the teams a little bit later, but on some of the treatment that's going to fall in line with the rest of the survey, Kansas City was able to overcome some of the things that they didn't like from their ownership and facilities and all the different things, kind of the priorities we talked about earlier that were decided on amongst this survey. But yet coaching, right near the top, getting an A+, you had Andy Reid, you had Kevin O'Connell from the Minnesota Vikings, you had another A+ head coach, Dan Campbell. And here's one. I don't remember what Dan Campbell received in his first year. I might have to go back and look at that. Minnesota didn't make the playoffs, so they weren't the winningest of teams. But to me, it shouldn't matter what your record is if you evaluate your coach this way. It probably helps when you win, obviously. And Dan Campbell and the Lions had their best season, but he got an A+. And to me, I don't know what you guys would look for. I know what I did when, way back when, if you played any kind of youth sports into high school or college or whatever it might be. and I'm sure to the same extent of a pro's, is someone that you can communicate with, someone you learn from, someone that you trust, especially when you're younger. I mean, you're looking at someone that could potentially be a role model, a father figure for some, right? In no matter what realm you're in. And, coaching, I'm sure, has morphed over the years. And I said this the other day that I feel like from calls or texts or different things, there's a perception that when you see someone that's really adamant or really yelling, passionate, that guy or that gal, she's coaching. He's coaching. Look at them. They're a coach. That is a way to do it. I didn't love the yelling coach personally.
I don't know about you, but I kind of like shut off when a guy was just screaming.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've always been pretty well self-aware of when an obvious thing, if Chris, you and I are on a team and I make a turnover and I screw it, like I made a bad pass. I mean, that to me is different than like if a coach yells at you for that, I made a mistake. Now, if I'm in the wrong spot, we're doing a play or we're supposed to be doing something and you're not doing it properly, that to me is where you can maybe be corrected or taught and I'm with you. Like, I generally would know if I made a mistake, and it's not a my bad. It's like, I'm as upset with myself. Now you yelling at me is like, yeah, that's maybe to your point, like the shutdown. It's like, yeah, I get it. I threw the ball away. Like, thanks. I don't need you to yell at me. But to me, I found it more, you want there to be teaching and coaching and helping. And I don't know if that's I think you probably, when you're in the NFL level, when you've got that many coaches, certainly the NBA, looking behind the Kings bench, my goodness, there's so many different coaches out there. You probably want a little sprinkling of everything. There's probably the coach, oh man, this is the coach I want to talk to. This is the coach that's going to tell it to me straight. This is the coach that's going to yell at me no matter what. This is the one that's probably going to support you and show you more love. It's probably nice to have a combination of all that. But all that being said, good grades for guys like Mike Tomlin, which I would expect. I think he would be a fun coach to play for. Shanahan did just fine. Sean McVay, these guys all got A's as part of this players survey. McDermott did well. Pete Carroll did pretty well. So, but that bottom of the list, tough down there with guys like Bill Belichick, Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, and dead last, Josh McDaniels. All right, when we return, the Kings, lots went wrong for them yesterday. We'll look back at what we predicted in that, and we'll recap 3 in the key for the Kings and Nuggets. Who's hot and who's not? We'll ask that question as well as we continue here on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nice work. Thanks. Taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas, right?
Yes.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yes. Nugenix is a great way to feel stronger with more energy and endurance. And as Frank says, she'll like it too.
Text ROCK to 369-369 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Text ROCK to 369-369. That's ROCK to 369-369.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Oh, I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to a brand new year filled with limitless possibilities at Kia of Vacaville. Prepare yourself for an extraordinary driving adventure as we present our impressive 2024 vehicle lineup. Step into the future with state-of-the-art technology, groundbreaking features, and the sleek design that has become synonymous with Kia. Immerse yourself in the dynamic performance of the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating power. Experience the fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Indulge in the sophistication of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending luxury and versatility. Don't overlook our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, ideal for those who prioritize efficiency without sacrificing style. If you're in search of the EV9, Kia of Vacaville has it in stock or available for delivery. Visit Kia of Vacaville today and cruise into 2024 with confidence and style. Kia of Vacaville, where innovation meets the road. Elevate your drive, elevate your year. Model availability and features may vary. Please see the dealership for details.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
All right, it is that time to figure out those two questions. Who is hot and who is not? Hey, today, since it's Leap Day, why don't we start with who's hot?
Tell me if you've heard this before.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Last night in the Iowa's 108-60 win over Minnesota, Clark had 33 points to go along with 12 assists and 10 rebounds for her 17th triple-double of her career. It was also her 6th 30-point triple-double, which is the most in Division I history. She also broke the single-season three-point record. She now has 156 on the season. Clark broke Kansas Jayhawk legend Lynette Woodard's record of 3,649 points in a career and is now sitting at 3,650 career points. Is just 18 points away from breaking Pete Maravich's NCAA overall scoring record.
And you were telling me during the break the tickets for this weekend's game, they're playing what, at Ohio State?
Yes. I think they're at home against. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. What's the cheapest ticket you found?
Cheapest ticket to get in is $400 from the ticket sites.
The cheapest ticket
to get
$400. Oh, you know what? I was wrong, Chris. It is her final home game. That's
okay,
why.
yeah.
I thought they had one more week. So, yeah, it's her final regular season home game. Now, also, we had someone on the text line earlier who's like, Caitlin Clark should stay in school instead of going to the WNBA. She's played 4 years.
I think she's got a COVID eligibility year.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Because, I mean, she's played 4 full seasons. I mean, she would obliterate all the records. Now, I think college generally is the best time of your life. It's not going to be necessarily a financial windfall like it would be to leave college to go to the NBA as it is to the WNBA.
I mean, after what she's done this season.
I mean, her NIL deals, she should be everywhere. And she still could be everywhere. But I almost wonder.
Like going into the WNBA.
Will she lose popularity? And if that makes sense?
Well, going into the WNBA, she's not going to be the best player.
No, she won't. And there'll be an immediate surge of popularity because the name you're taking from what she's done at Iowa to the WNBA will be helpful and for the branding. But the WNBA is in a healthy spot right now. She won't be the best player. I think she'll be really good.
Yeah.
But she goes to Connecticut and plays for the Sun. That'll be great. But is that going to be bigger in the scope of things, which is so weird to say, than what she's doing at Iowa?
I mean, I think I just can't see.
And the league is good and healthy, but now you're with other talent. I mean, again, there's other talented people in women's college basketball, but she's the face of women's college basketball.
Yeah.
She would not be the face of the WNBA.
Yeah.
I guess.
Unless she goes in there and just starts destroying people.
I guess, but I think she could go in and be great,
Yeah.
but there's been other players like that, maybe not to the same kind of college hype, but Breonna Stewart, what Asia Wilson's doing for Las Vegas. I mean, Vegas is still stacked. New York's going to be great again. Sabrina Ionescu. I mean, there's a lot of great players in the WNBA, and she would be one of them. Good for her. Good for them. And $400 a ticket, man. I guess it's to say I went to her final game. I mean, I don't know what her NCAA tournament games will be, but that also is one every night could be your final game. You just don't know.
This seems like a cash grab.
And it seems like they will get that cash grab. All right, how about who's not then?
PJ Tucker.
Okay, explain.
He has been scoreless in his last 9 games with the Clippers and has not scored since November 14th.
Woof.
Oof.
November 14th?
November 14th.
Begs the question.
We're in March, or we're going to be in March.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm going to do some quick checking here. I know he hasn't played a ton, but I wonder how many shot attempts that is. He doesn't shoot the ball very much. So I'm trying to ask the question basically here is, if we had the same amount of minutes played and the same amount of shot attempts, would you have any points in the NBA?
Yes.
You think you would?
Mm-hmm.
You think you are better than PJ Tucker?
I would be able to score, and the reason why?
Pump fake.
Pump fake. I'm getting to the line. I might not score a basket, but I'm getting to the line.
You would make your free throw?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so the last game he did score, you're right, was November 14th. Okay, he hasn't played that many times. Let me get the shot attempts. Oh, my gosh. How many? Have you looked?
No.
What is your guess? So since that November 14th game that he scored 6 points in a loss, he has played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you the minute totals in these games. 15, 16, 13, 22, 8, 6, 14, 5, and 11. So in those 9 games, how many shot attempts has PJ Tucker had?
Okay, I'm just going to say, let's just say average of 3 a game.
3 a game. So you think he's
27.
0 for 27.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had 27 shot attempts in a 9-game stretch in the NBA and all those minutes that he played, you'd have a point in some way, shape, or form.
Because I told you I'd get to the line.
Okay. What if I told you I'm going to start reading his shot attempts by game in these 9 games? 0 for 0. 0 for 0. 0 for 0. 0 for 2. 0 for 0. 0 for 0. 0 for 0. 0 for 1. And 0 for 0. He's taking 3 shots.
Man,
3
that sounds
shot
like
attempts.
DeRozan's 3-point attempts.
Yeah. And 0 free throws. None. Okay. Here's the other stat that's interesting. Here are his fouls in those games. 3, 2, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 0, 1.
That also sounds like a line that I would have.
Oh, I guess there's a role for everybody. But
I had a coach that once told me it's good to know your limitations.
Yeah. But I mean, he used to at least be the guy stand in the corner and shoot the open 3. Now he's standing in the corner and just standing in the corner. Nobody puts PJ Tucker in the corner.
That's him in the corner. That's him in the spotlight.
What's he doing? Not shooting his... never mind. Oh, boy. All right, who's hot, who's not? Wow, your 27 guess probably felt low. Like 3 shot attempts a game?
Yeah.
For 9 games? He's taken 3. Boy, he must have really felt badly in that New Orleans game when he was 0 for 2. And then he was 0 for 1 against the Kings. I don't even remember him playing the other night when the Kings beat him on Sunday. He had an 0 for 1, no other stat in that game. Well, good to be PJ Tucker, I guess. All right, let's do it. How did we do on our predictions? The Kings we know lost. But how do we do on our recap of our 3 in the key? It was me and you, Chris, but we had bonus coverage with Big Al and C-Dub. When they came in on the show, I asked them these same questions. So we anticipated the game being involving the bench, not necessarily in the way it played out where the Kings got blown out, but we asked for bench points by the Kings versus bench points by the Nuggets. I said 48 for the Kings, 22 for the Nuggets. Chris, you said 34 for the Kings, 25 for the Nuggets. Alan Stiles said 42 and 39. And Chris Watkins said 30 and 25. It kind of became a bench game. It was 46 to 24. I almost got it right on them both. So I think I got that one closest. I missed by 2 on each. We then asked the battle of the big men. Nikola Jokic versus Domantas Sabonis. We anticipated these guys getting it done in the paint. Both are always on triple-double watches in the game, in any game they play. And so I don't think I'll give all of our – well, I can give our numbers. Sabonis, for me, I said 20, 14, and 7. And 28, 10, and 10 for the Joker. Chris, you said 22, 14, and 11 for Sabonis. 33, 11, and 7 for the Joker. Allen had 16, 12, and 10 for Sabonis. 22, 11, and 9 for the Joker. And Chris had 17, 12, and 8 for Sabonis with 18, 15, and 13 for Jokic. Well, Sabonis was 13, 10, and 7. So I think the closest one there is Alan Stiles. Let's see. Well, he and Chris. Actually, Chris is a little bit closer. And then on the Joker is 14, 14, and 11. The closest one there also is Chris Watkins. So he got both of those. The last one, really the most important one, the random stat. We're kind of calling our shot, try to predict what we think was going to happen yesterday before the game even happened. I said Malik Monk would score 20 or more off the bench, part of that big scoring night. Well, Malik scored 14. Wasn't even the high bench score. By the way, season high 18 for Chris Duarte. Let's see. Big Al said Davion would score 3 or more three-pointers. He was 1 of 3. Chris Watkins said a half-court shot would be made in the game. That did not happen. But you, Christopher Law, said that Keegan Murray would catch a body.
There's Keegan running to the rim. Oh, a stick. Big-time throwdown by Keegan Murray. He wasn't going to finesse that, Daddy. He took it in there strong. 114 to 91.
Keegan actually looked at the bench, too. I don't know if somebody said something. The Kings were getting killed. He was still in the game for some reason. And that highlight got better and better every time I saw it. First, I'm like, oh, my goodness. Then you see the highlight, and I don't even remember which defender he hit, but he hit him, and it's like it made him raise up even more. And when he dunked it, he was way above the rim and kind of had a snarl to him. That, you got it. You nailed it. That was nice.
Yep, I knew it. My guy Keegs.
Your guy Keegs, probably the best highlight of the night. Unfortunately, I think the Kings were down by about 70 at the time. But it was nice. So Chris called the shot, got it correct on his random stat. Oh, the game. Tomorrow, the Kings will be back in action. They will be taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. We will have a preview of that one tomorrow. Coming up in our final hour of the show today, we will have what to watch around the NBA tonight as the Kings have the day off. We also will have crosstalk with Stiles and Watkins. I'm going to tell you about what I liked the least about the game last night, and it's not the obvious, the score or the outcome. It was something else that really kind of irked me. We'll get into that. But when we come back, one final look at that NFLPA report card review. The team report cards. Where did the 49ers rank amongst that on the list? We'll do that all coming up in our final hour here on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh, my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Tennis event of the year, the Netflix Slam, on March 3rd at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Join 22-time Grand Slam champion and tennis legend Rafael Nadal as he takes on world number 2, Carlos Alcaraz, and witness a tennis showdown like never before. This live Netflix sports event promises unparalleled tennis action, so don't miss the thrill. Mark your calendars for March 3rd, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. It's Game, Set, Match on Netflix.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopiers.com.
Febreze. Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
Yep. Final hour here of the show on this Thursday, Leap Day, February 29th. Jason Ross, Christopher Laud. As we continue to roll along, Carmichael Dave out today.
So, looking forward.
Yeah.
These, for the celebrity birthdays, did you get them all that have Leap Day birthdays?
Yeah, they're Leap Day birthdays. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's February 29th. Yeah. What did you think?
I was just wondering, are there enough celebrities in it?
I
already know one that we're all going to get.
Yeah, it's thin. But yeah, I won't say anything on that, but it's thin. There's a little something to discuss in that coming up.
And you know what? If you think really hard about it,
there you go. You're already on
able
it.
To.
Well, don't clue those guys in, because you should at least, Yeah, you should be close.
I know that Watkins hates math, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. We'll see how they do coming up. We got what to watch in the final hour. Coming up in the next segment, too, back in on the Kings as well. We've heard some response to the game, some coach reaction, my reaction, my thought on the game. But there's something else I want to bring up that bothered me maybe the most about the game. So I got that coming your way here in just a moment. Want to finish up the NFLPA and the player report cards. These are always kind of interesting. It's more of a true glance into what it's like for these organizations, what they're doing well, what they're not. We're evaluating them on how they play. Did they win? Did they lose? Did our fantasy guy help out? Who's making the playoffs? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? All that kind of stuff. This coach shouldn't have done that. This is a different kind of grading system. And if you look at the last of the three, we've looked at the owners already, how those graded out. We've looked at the head coaches. The last was kind of the team overall grades. There was like 11 different categories that the teams were being graded on, from treatment of families to locker rooms. So many different things was the criteria, though. Kind of the meals that they are available to them. Some teams, I think the Bengals, who had an F before, one of the things they were bragging about, I saw Chris in this review, was like they got an F on how the treatment of families and kind of the food table that was available. They're like, well, now they don't have to pay for the meals on Wednesdays. They get they get 3 full meals on Wednesdays. I'm like, that's what you're bragging about?
On Wednesdays, they get Skyline Chili.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know what? I was surprised. I was a fan of.
Again, what is that? That's a Cincinnati thing. What's Skyline Chili?
It's like...
It's spaghetti, right?
Yeah, it's spaghetti with chili, but it's kind of like a sweeter chili.
Bob's Big Boy, I've said that, used to have that, and I used to get that as a kid.
Oh, really?
Are Bob's Big Boys around? I used to go with my
I think so.
In San Diego, and my grandmother was the to me, this is how I remember it. It was always, we're going to church. Ugh. That would be my thought as a kid. And then, can we go to Bob's Big Boy? Yes. And we're going to Bob's Big Boy after. It's like, all right.
Mine was, we're going to church. Ugh. But afterwards, we're going to Mr. Perry's. Okay.
Yeah. And what would you get at Mr. Perry's? Because I would get the spaghetti chili at Bob's Big Boy. And probably the only reason I got it, I was really small. And you're looking at menus with pictures. And what they had, so it's the chili spaghetti sauce on noodles. Nothing that's amazing. But they had probably literally like the Kraft square cheese put right on the top. But as a kid, it's like, I've eaten that before. That looks like that's good. I want that.
Like, as you described, that's like, that doesn't sound appetizing at all.
And that didn't make it any better with the square cheese. But in my mind, that was like, ooh, that's what I want. And I got it every time. And also the maybe it was cheese bread or garlic bread. It was like, yeah, that's my meal. I'll go through the hour and a half of church if I have to with my grandmother and my grandfather, and then let's go to Bob's Big Boy. So what did you get at Mr. Perry's?
I'd usually get like the waffle, eggs and bacon.
Yeah, so I don't know why mine was more of a lunch. Maybe we had already eaten breakfast. I don't know. I just remember wanting that spaghetti chili. So you tried it though? It's called what? Skyline Chili?
Skyline Chili.
I don't know if that's what they're serving in Cincinnati or not. But treatment of families, I think, is important. That's going to go a long way. And you're going to get the authentic answer from a spouse, a child, like how they're being treated. So,
and like I said before, like you're limiting how much money these players can make.
Mm-hmm.
You should make it as comfortable as possible. This is like money that the NFL can't make you not spend.
Right.
You can spend whatever you want on accommodations.
Yeah. Well, like Kelly just told us earlier in sports business, I can't remember the exact number.
Good at business.
That's right, he is. And that each team was going to be getting, but whatever the salary cap went up to, they were going to be plus 150 in money given by the league to these teams. So they were covering their cap. Now there's other things teams have to worry about, but this was just from, television rights, licensing, all that other stuff. So teams are doing just fine. So they can be treating players and everybody better. And then this stuff becomes very public. So if you look at that, the report card rankings for teams, the Washington Commanders finish dead last. Surprisingly, the Kansas City Chiefs, we already talked about Andy Reid getting the A+, the best coach. The owner, Clark Hunt, getting the F-, being the worst owner. Well, the Chiefs finished 31st. So it hasn't been an indicator in win-loss for them per se, but that's not good. The Steelers, kind of a prominent franchise at 28. Working our way up from the bottom. You got the Rams at 20. Let's see who in the top 15. The Ravens at 15. The Cowboys at 12. The Raiders, despite having the worst coach amongst the NFLPA and rankings, finished 9th. We'll go rest of the top 10. Giants at 8. The Texans at 7. The San Francisco 49ers graded out well. They finished in 6th in this, and a close 6th. They were almost up to that top 3 area. Let's see. Jacksonville was 5. Philadelphia is 4. Green Bay is 3. Minnesota and Miami for back-to-back years have either been 1-2. They flip-flop this year, where Miami is 1 and Minnesota is 2. And the other part about this, Chris, you brought up the fact that, it's money that they can spend. It doesn't go against the cap. It's treating people. To me, where it's impactful is how this is going to work in free agency and other things. This word is out. It's very public. We all get to see this. And you see the teams that rank that poorly, and maybe those aren't as big a deals for other people. But when you're graded out consistently, like the last 2 years, the Dolphins, for example, got straight A's in all 11 categories, all 11. So there's something they're doing well. Mike McDaniel, didn't crack the top 5 amongst his peers, but he did rank 8th. So you've got a team that's good, a coach that seems to be likable. They grade in A's in all 11 of these other type things. And to me, then when you're weighing probably your own personal opportunity, obviously money, what kind of contract is a team offering you? If you're a free agent joining that team, what are your playing opportunities going to be? Are you going to come in as a starter? Are you going to come in as someone that you think is going to be a key piece to the team? These are all things that can lead you there. But these other ancillary things I think could be really helpful. Like, again, we're talking about training room, training staff, team travel, ownership, the food cafeteria. I mean, some of this stuff may be trivial to all of you, but a lot of times I think it is the little things on how you're being treated. I mean, it really is. And so I think it's a great recruiting tool. I know it's not all about free agency and stuff, but this word spreads quickly.
I remember Mark Cuban's big thing when he became the owner of the Mavericks was there was this idea of make the visiting locker room as crappy as possible, just not to give them an edge. And he did the opposite, making it super nice.
Yeah.
And his whole idea was visiting players coming here is like, wow, if this is what they're doing for the visiting players, what are they doing for the if you're playing for them?
Yeah, you may not ever be a Dallas Maverick, but you also go, man, if that ever becomes a possibility, I know how I felt when I went there. Like they didn't have cold water in our showers. They had towels for us. They had a decent sized locker room. Actually, it looked like we were the home team. Yeah, I think that's smart. I mean, I think that's a good business tactic. And look, it's like
good business.
It's the old saying, treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you get taken
Imagine
care of,
that.
Yeah. It does seem like it's a simple process to me. It really does. And apparently it's not as simple, even with the people that have so much money. Take care of your people, pay them well, treat them well, make them all accountable, but take care of them, and hopefully they take care of you. All right, that's the last of our look at the NFLPA report cards, from the owners to the coaches and now the team grades. Niners did just fine in all those categories. When we return, last night, the Kings lost. All right, they dropped to 8th. Fine. But what bothered me the most about the game, I'll explain that next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
Huge savings on our remaining 2023 Rams as we make room for the hundreds of 2024s arriving daily. This month, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And you won't find a better selection of new Ram trucks in Northern California, with over 500 Rams available.
Well, that sounds like a good deal, but why drive all the way to Hoblet, Chad?
For 4 generations, we prided ourselves on being the small town dealer with big city selection and savings. When you buy from Hoblet, you're family, which is why so many of our customers come back and buy from us time after time.
Come to Hoblet and see what it's like to be treated like family. at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. See their full selection at HoblettDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 74.88 factory rebates and 75.12 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 case construction bonus cash. Must have purchased eligible with new case equipment to qualify, and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be carrying a member of eligible first responder association. 5 with this net savings. Symbol VIN 7000008.
Bleed black and purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Sactown Sports.
No beam lighting last night. Instead, it was all Denver.
And with the shot clock off and only a dozen seconds to go, this one is all but official. The final score will be 117-96. Mike Brown and Michael Malone embrace. It's a long embrace. A lot of back patting going on. And now another embrace as Denver avoided the season series sweep by the Kings. And they did it emphatically, turning this game around in the second quarter. Sacramento had opened up a 15-point lead, if you weren't with us at that time. And suddenly the 15-point lead was long gone. And the Kings ended up with a 25-point turnaround in that second 12-minute segment. And they were never able to come close to recovery.
All right. Well, last night, that was the G-Man on the call. I really wish I could have heard that, been a fly on the wall, the proverbial fly on the wall for the conversation that Michael Malone and Mike Brown had post-game. Denver won, fair and square, easy win for them after the Kings built a 15-point lead. Then the Kings found themselves down by as many as 32 in a game that completely flipped in favor of the champs. Again, all of that is tolerable, I guess. But I really found myself intrigued by what happened in the fourth quarter. Doesn't mean a thing in the grand scheme of things as far as the record, as far as the outcome of the game. And maybe that's partly my point. And maybe I'm making more of this than I should. But of all the things that happened in the game last night, it wasn't so much that the Kings lost. I was bothered by two different things that happened in the fourth quarter. One of them being when the game was completely out of hand. I mean, the Kings weren't going to come back in the game. They were down in the fourth quarter comfortably. And it basically, Denver would have had to have gone scoreless, and the Kings have a huge quarter for them to even have a chance to win. So the fourth quarter starts. Domantas Sabonis ended the third. He did not have a double-double. He was close to a double-double and a triple-double at the time. But I was thinking, boy, you better get that rebound before the quarter ends because I'm pretty sure he won't play in the fourth quarter. And the quarter ended. It looked to me, again, this is all I can observe. I think G-Man even referenced this on his radio call, that Mike Brown and Domantas Sabonis had a conversation going towards the bench to end the quarter. And I'm, again, kind of guessing and trying to do my best assessment here. But maybe it's like, hey, do you want to stay in? Do you want to get this stat so you can continue this double-double streak? Maybe that conversation wasn't had, but that's kind of the way you're reading it, kind of internalizing what their dialogue might be. Maybe there was more, maybe there was less, but that's kind of the way it felt. Anyway, the fourth quarter starts and he's not in the game. So I'm like, well, streak will come to an end. That's fine. It doesn't diminish him as a player. It's still impressive streak. And this is going to be a loss, and maybe it's just better to get him 12 more minutes of rest and, try again on Friday and start a new streak when you take on Minnesota. That was my thought process then. So the first thing that irked me would be the quarter starts. Denver is going to win this game. I mean, they're just going to win. And Jamal Murray is out there. And I thought, well, okay, you want to make sure you're going to win, but I don't think Denver's in any kind of trouble of losing this game. And not only is Murray in, Murray is getting a little thirsty and scoring and scoring and scoring. Again, just adding on, doesn't matter the deficit, but adding on to his point total. And to me, that's an area where he could have just kind of played, got other guys involved, and, not gotten hurt, which he didn't, which is important. I wasn't rooting for that, and just get through it. But, other guys could have definitely come in and played for Michael Malone. We had knowledge before the game that Michael Malone was basically saying, we are not going to get swept. Well, they weren't going to get swept. They were going to win this game. So I had a bit of an issue with Jamal Murray in the game. The Kings reserves played hard. They played fine. They weren't going to lead a comeback, but they chipped away a little bit. Never a threat to lose the game for Denver. And then Murray is still in. They went to a timeout, and I thought, all right, it's good. They're going to win. And he came back out again. And I'm thinking, why is Jamal Murray in there? And then the next thing I could see on the TV screen, here comes running on the Kings sideline, Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray. And I went, oh, why? Why are they doing this? Why is Murray playing Jamal Murray for the Nuggets? And why are the Kings bringing back in Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray? For the reasons that they could get hurt, I was bothered by, but you can't play scared. They almost did get hurt. They collided with one another, and actually Domantas Sabonis got a cut on his cheek, or kind of like his sideburn area. I say that's not a big deal. That's not going to keep him out of a game. He ultimately got the extra rebound, and at the end, I didn't feel good about that.
Is that worth it?
It's not, one, and two, like, what was the win? To keep the streak alive? And great, that's awesome. And, you know, maybe if he does break Kevin Love's double-double streak in the end, people go, I mean, I don't know that the masses will know that he got thrown back into a game to get one rebound because he got the cut, then came back out, then left the game. It's like he played about another minute and a half, 2 minutes, totally unnecessary. Nothing big happened. He's healthy. He's going to be fine. I just didn't like the look of Denver doing that. The Kings kind of responding with that, and maybe they're independent of one another, but I started to think, you know, I know Michael Malone was not happy the way he was let go here. I know it. I mean, he's basically said that, and anytime he's had a chance to take a jab at Sacramento, he does. I'm not even blaming him for that. I think he was wrongly fired. I agree 100% with him. Was he rubbing it in? I don't know. I don't have a logical answer for Jamal Murray not only being in the game, but adding on and just kind of him specifically continuing to score. And he had a massive game. He was great. Kings couldn't stop him. And maybe that's the argument. Well, if he's out there playing, stop him. Sure. But then the Kings to counter with that. And maybe all of this is much ado about nothing. I didn't like the look of it. I didn't. It's my opinion on it. I think it was senseless on Denver's side. Certainly senseless on the Kings side. I guess in the grand scheme of things, if Sabonis continues this double-double streak, I will be happy about it. But I think the masses may not know that he had the game where he just kind of got thrown in there late to keep that going. But I didn't understand the effort at it, the attempt at it. And why? Jokic was out. You had Porter Jr. out, Gordon out. The game's over. It's in the bag. If it was reversed, I'd be going, why is De'Aaron Fox in? I mean, you want to make sure you get the win, but why is he in? Why is Sabonis in? And then you're bringing back two starters, two of your most important players. And again, nothing bad happened, and something could have. It didn't. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Besides the reason what it would be to get to the stats. And I don't think in this point that matters. I don't think personally that Sabonis cares that much about that. And maybe he did. Maybe he said he wanted to go back in. I don't know. I don't know how it all played out. But it just seemed like it didn't need to happen. And that bothered me, that Denver side of it and the Kings side of it. And I don't know if there's ego or gamesmanship. It certainly didn't look like it. That's why I wanted to be the fly on the wall between the two coaches. They did have the long embrace. Certainly Michael Malone was talking quite a bit to Coach Brown about it. It didn't seem to bother Coach Brown, but it just was an interesting way. Let's hear what Mike Brown here said after the game about at least the last group of players that were in the game.
I thought the last group, I thought Mason, Trey, Alex, Dorte, and Kessler. I thought those guys were really good. I thought they tried to play hard. I thought they tried to play together and try to play the right way. And Mason did a good job of trying to organize the guys and trying to help make the game easier for them. So there were some bright spots early on from our main rotation guys, and then there were bright spots late in the game from guys that don't get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, on our text line, Scott saying, I saw it as a counter of Malone playing Murray. It might have been, but that goes, again, back to what irked me. Why? Why was Murray in? So it's like, oh, you're going to – it reminded me a little bit of, if we go back to earlier this season, if you guys remember the preseason game where the Kings were playing the Warriors at Chase Center in San Francisco. It's a preseason, doesn't really matter, but, you know, this was fresh off the summer when the Kings had lost that painful 7-game series to the Warriors. And this didn't feel like, from the get-go, like a regular preseason game where no one seems to care about the outcome. Get your guys in. You're like, wow, the Kings are really playing hard. Wow, the Kings are leaving Fox and Sabonis and Murray and Barnes in here and Herter. Oh, Steve Kerr's bringing back in Chris Paul and Steph Curry. Here comes Clay. It's like, it was a thrilling game and the Warriors won at the end, but it just felt like there was more on that. And why? What was going on there? And so felt similar to me last night, whether it was Denver making sure that, hey, we told you we weren't going to get swept. We're going to make sure we're not getting swept. I don't understand it. Didn't like it. In the end, is it a big deal? No, not at all. But it just bothered me. Bothered me that the Kings put back in Murray and put back in Sabonis. Though we got the great dunk by Murray and eventually got the double-double by Sabonis. In the end, it's their 25th loss. They fall to 8th, and Denver does avoid that sweep. All right, still to come right here on the show. We will check in with Styles and Watkins with a little crosstalk. We'll have celebrity birthdays for today. But when we return, we're going to talk a little bit about what you need to watch tonight around the NBA and kind of relate it to the standings. We're going to have that coming up and a little more reaction to this Kings loss as Sacramento fell to the Denver Nuggets. Again, we told you the stat earlier. Sacramento, in all the years here in Sacramento, this being their 39th season, they have never, ever swept the defending NBA champions in the regular season. That counts when the Pistons won in the East, Chicago, any Eastern Conference team, Milwaukee that won, Miami, that you only had 2 matchups with the next year. They never had. Last night was their opportunity to do that for the first time, and it was 4 games on the Denver Nuggets, but the 4th one's what did them in. Couldn't get that full sweep. So that streak and stat stays intact. But again, when we return, we'll tell you about what to watch tonight. We've got all that and a few more thoughts. That is straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Hey, Sacramento, guess what? It's an extra special year, a leap year, and we're making every second count at Elk Grove Kia. Get ready to leap into savings like never before. February might be the shortest month, but our deals are anything but short on value. We're slashing used car prices so you can take home your dream Kia today. And speaking of dreams, leap into this deal with the Kia Forte for just $19,988. It's sleek, it's stylish, and it's waiting for you to drive it home. But wait, there's more. Lease the stunning Kia Seltos for only $199 per month. Yes, you heard it right. A brand new SUV for just $199 per month with approved credit and a down payment of $3,595 plus taxes and fees. This deal is too good not to take the leap. Drive away in style with the Kia Seltos. But hurry, our inventory is limited and these deals won't last forever. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia, conveniently located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com and leap into savings today. Only at Elk Grove Kia. Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
Continuing here on Sactown Sports. Appreciate your feedback at all times here on our YouTube chat mob there, or on the text line at 916-339-1140. Just to explain my, displeasure of the closing quarter for the Kings and Nuggets last night. Didn't understand why Jamal Murray was in there. Didn't understand really the counter to bring Domas back in and Keegan Murray. From the 916, Jason, isn't Jamal Murray coming off an injury? It wasn't a back-to-back. The masses don't recognize Domas anyway. Let Domas keep his rhythm, in my opinion. Okay. I don't think – did he get any more rhythm in that last – he just got one more rebound. Got hit in the side of the face, got cut. He actually had a weird stumble there, too. I'm like, oh, my gosh, the worst thing that could happen is for him to get hurt in a game they're going to lose. The Murray part, it's to each their own. Denver, they could have played their starters all the way through. I still would have questioned it. There's nothing technically wrong with any of it. I just questioning it. I don't get it. I don't think it made a lot of sense. It's what bothered me the most, but big picture, like I said, it's still the 40th win for Denver, the 25th loss for the Kings. Also from the 916, do you think Sacramento will pick up Patty Mills now that Atlanta has waived him? Not sure. The Kings haven't been too aggressive so far in that buyout market. When they played, who they played the other day that I thought could have helped? Oh, DeLon Wright. Was out there. Miami got him, ends up having to start him based on circumstances with guys being out, and his start here at Golden One, and he was pretty good. Ended up being their player of the game that day internally with Miami, basically thrown into the fire like that. So I think you have to be smart and scope all the things that are available to you. Here's another one from the 916. What's wrong with and when does Sasha come back? He's no superstar, but I really think he could use him to balance out the second team scoring. Yeah, Sasha to me has been a little bit frustrating in this sense. I was really excited about what he could do for the Sacramento Kings. He hasn't been healthy enough lately, certainly. But even when he was playing early on, I've just seen him as a kind of a streak scorer, streak shooter, which obviously on the streak positive nights are great. But I'd like to see a more well-rounded game from him. I just feel like he is at this point, just a shooter. I need either more of a playmaker, a defender, some other attribute besides shooting. And shooting is always going to be recognized and rewarded. But I think the more elements you have to your game, it makes you more valuable. And I personally haven't seen that much of it. And again, we got to give him a little more time, get him out there. But the minutes that he did have was fine. I was looking for him based on him being the EuroLeague MVP, based on kind of the desire the Kings had to get him. And, again, all these things don't mean the finalized opinion of a guy, but I think where they have what I've seen and what we've seen so far this year, that's kind of how I feel about him. We're going to get to what to watch tonight, and still to come, we will have a crosstalk with the guys here and celebrity birthdays in a moment. Chris, did you see the story of the Kansas City Chiefs super fan, the Chiefsaholic, who pled guilty to that bank robbery?
Yes. He had a world-class lawyer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Oh, you didn't see it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, let me grab it.
It's literally a picture or?
No, like he's talking.
Oh, yeah. You have audio?
Yes, I'm going to grab
it. Okay. Yeah, we got to get this. So the Kansas City Chiefs super fan pled guilty to the bank robbery, money laundering. I forgot what some of the punishments he had to do, which was pretty crazy. Let me see. I'm going to find this. As part of his plea, he admitted to committing 9 bank and credit union robberies in 2022 and 2 other bank robberies while he was fleeing law enforcement last year before laundering most of the stolen money through local casinos and online gambling. He will pay at least $532,000 plus in restitution. Let's see. And forfeit any property tied to his money laundering activities, including an autographed painting of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, which has been recovered by the FBI.
I've got that audio.
Okay, let's hear what we got. This is the lawyer?
Yes.
From the beginning of this case, folks, the government has been blitzing, and Xavier's pocket was collapsing. But today, Xavier stepped into the pressure. He took responsibility for his actions. He stood up in court, humble and repentant, and admitted what he had done. Now, if I know anything about Xavier, and if the Chiefs Kingdom knows anything about Chiefsaholic, we know that he doesn't give up. We know that if he stumbled and he fell, he didn't let his knee touch the ground. And that's because he's capable of doing a great thing. And he knows that there's still hope. We still have a lot of work to do on his case, but Xavier wants everyone to know that he loves the Chiefs Kingdom, he loves Kansas City, and he hopes that you'll rally to his support. Thank you and God bless.
That was an SNL?
What's great is you can't see the video.
Can you describe him for me as best you can?
He's just like, looks like a quote nerdy person.
Okay.
30s? Glasses, 40s.
Okay.
But he's got this humongous tie. Like it almost looks like a Dick Tracy tie.
So comically large tie.
Yes.
I mean, was he reading?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I mean, the script was, the football analogies.
With the pocket collapsing.
He stepped up to the pressure. Oh my gosh. He should get more of a punishment based on that.
The lawyer should have to take his place.
Yes. If anybody knows anything about Xavier, Chiefsaholic, my gosh. He would have got away with it if he had a jetpack. That's all you need.
If you know he doesn't give up by the numerous amounts of banks that he runs.
Yes. He will not take a knee. Wow. Thank you. I'm glad you had that audio. I had not heard that. Unbelievable. All right. Tonight, what to watch in the NBA. We're going to keep doing this all the way through. I saw another person here on our chat say, the Kings in jeopardy of falling out of the top 10. They're going to finish 11th. They're not. Just telling you. Well, I guess anything is possible. It's not happening, guys. That part is safe. But doesn't mean they can't fall to 10. Doesn't mean they can't fall to 9. Currently, they're in 8th after the loss last night. Just to reiterate how they would have to get to 11th. Currently, the Utah Jazz are 27-32. The Kings are 33-25. That is a separation of 6.5 games. That may not seem like a ton to you. It is with the amount of games that are left, and the Kings have the tiebreaker. So basically, it's 7.5 games that Utah would have to gain ground on. If the Kings played, let's just pick a number. They've got, 50. They got 24 games to go. If they went 8-16, which is way below the level of play they played at any time this year, but let's do that to the Kings and have them go 8-16. That would give them a 41-41 record. The Jazz have played one more game than the Kings. They're at 27-32. They would have to go to, what is that? 15-8. The Jazz would have to win 15 of their final 23 when it's taken them 59 games to win 27. It's just not happening. They're not falling out of the top 10. Now, they could go to 9. They could go to 10. They could move up. These goals are still possible. Schedule softens a bit after this Minnesota game on Friday. What can help them tonight? Kings are now sole possession of 8th place. Here's what you want to watch for. The Warriors, they're at the Knicks in New York. The Knicks hopefully will be able to beat the Warriors. If not, Golden State would gain a half game, but they are currently 2.5 back of Sacramento. In the 10th spot are the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers, who are the team now closing in on the Kings, they are 2 back. They've won 7 of their last 10, including LeBron's largest comeback that he's ever had in the fourth quarter. They were down 21, rallied to beat the Clippers last night, and so the Lakers pulled a little closer to Sacramento, gained a full game. They are at home for the Wizards, who have lost 12 consecutive games. So you got to believe that the Lakers would be favored and would have a good chance of gaining a half game on the Kings. The Thunder, they are currently a half game back of Minnesota. They could move back into a tie for the top spot. They are at San Antonio, a team that has lost 5 in a row and the worst record in the West. Also, what to watch tonight? You've got the Miami Heat at the Denver Nuggets. Denver is the 3 seed. They're 2 back of the top spot. They are playing the second night of a back-to-back at home. And the last one, the Rockets, who are currently in 12th. They're at the Phoenix Suns. If the Rockets could beat the Suns, that would give the Suns their 25th loss. And right now, with 25 losses, the Pelicans, the Mavs, and the Kings. The difference is Pelicans have 35 wins, the Mavs have 34, and the Kings have 33. So plenty to watch there amongst the Western Conference top 10 in action tonight. Spring training, the Padres, they battle the A's, and the Giants take on the Diamondbacks. So those are some other things to check out tonight. As far as us, what we're going to check out, our conversation, Crosstalk. Styles and Watkins will join us. We'll see what's coming up on their show and also give you some celebrity birthdays for this leap day. That's all coming up here on Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th. World One presents The Jacksons. Don't miss The Jacksons with Sister Sledge and special guest The Tramps featuring Earl Young. Live on one stage, The Jacksons with Sister Sledge, March 30th at the venue at Thunder Valley. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment, 916-520-9990.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know? Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than freshly baked and home-delivered crumble cookies.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Since Nate has given his weird way to get hurt.
Did we confirm that he's hurt his wrist because he was on a mechanical bull?
That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay, we're going with it.
Alan, you said how you got hurt rollerblading.
That's right. I did.
Should we all give our embarrassing?
That was during our show. Yeah.
I didn't hear that. What'd you do?
Long story short, I think it was the first X Games, which was in San Francisco. Went down a half pipe. Never done that before. Face planted the half pipe and skated away.
You did skate away?
I had no choice. I still had my skates on.
I know, but you were okay?
I mean, you're a kid.
What'd you hurt?
You were a kid. I just face planted.
His pride.
Yeah, my pride was hurt.
Okay.
You okay, guys... I remember distinctly some dude. You okay, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Dude.
Yeah, you guys have any embarrassing getting hurt stories?
Got a couple. I broke my arm jumping off the back of a pickup truck when I was a kid. And I got stitches, actually. I don't know which side they're on, but on my cheek, I did a cartwheel off my parents' bed and hit my cheek on the nightstand.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah. That was not fun.
Oh.
I feel like you have one in the hopper, Chris.
Mine was, I think I've told this before, but in high school, we were at a tournament in Vegas, and we had one of those cots in the room that folds up and down. And I was just messing around, and I jumped on it to act. My idea was, because there's this lower level in the room, and I was going to act like I hit my head and act like I got hurt. But what happened is I jumped on the cot, and the other side came up, and the metal post on it just slammed me right in the eye. I had this huge black eye to where one of the teacher, one of the coaches was like, "Hey, Chris, what happened to your eyes?" I was like, "Oh, I tripped on my bag and I hit it." And he's like, "Okay." And then later he told me, we're walking down the hall, and he pulls me aside away from everybody. He's like, "Hey, Chris, you can talk to me. Did someone do this to you?"
Who was hurting you?
I'm like, "No, I jumped on the cot. It came up and it hit me in the head." He's just like, "What?" And I'm like, I jumped on the bed and it came and it hit me in the eye. That's why I have a black eye. And it was one of those
yeah, I'd rather not explain if I don't have to.
It's just all right, just get back with the team.
Yeah.
So kids are just accidents waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think primarily happens. I did that, I guess, and I was thinking as Chris did that in maybe second grade. There was a girl that we were on the jungle gym or whatever, and she jumped from one to the other, caught it, and then swung.
Right.
Parallel, wham, slam, hit her back. And I'm like, ha, 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 ha. It's easy. I did the exact same thing. Completely lost my breath. I just couldn't breathe, but that was karma. That was 100% karma.
I don't know if they still. Well, I did stick. You have the little screwdrivers. I stuck one in an outlet.
Oh my god!
And the lights in the house all went out.
And how about your lights? Your own.
I was okay. I felt a little ding. Every now and then it just. Chris will see during the show. But yeah, I did that, and it melted. It messed up the screwdriver. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
I was also gonna say, I don't know if they still are doing this game in grade school, but some of these games that we played, pretty dicey. Red Rover.
Arms.
A girl that she got clothesline. She went down.
That happens.
She went down.
It's weird that there's that one kid that happens, and then the entire school's like, "Okay, we can't play that game."
We've been doing this for years until the clothesline.
Yeah, let's just a lot of strong forearms in that class.
Yes.
I don't know, but stick with capture the flag. That one's better.
Capture the flag. The in class games. What was the heads up 7-Up or whatever? Game where you
classic.
Cheat and look at people's shoes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, and then I would always
do that one.
No.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
How did you not think of that?
You guys didn't do that? It was your head was down, but you're looking through the desk, and they're like, "Oh, I saw the shoes." And they're like, "Who got it?" It was Alan.
Yeah,
right.
I was too busy worrying about whether my crush would hit me or not, and then she never did. So
she didn't. But where's she today?
Yeah, we're all right.
She's thinking about you.
Probably.
Yeah. What's coming up on the show today, guys?
Kings talk, but we're not going to sit here and wallow.
No,
wallowing? We can't. We can't. The combine. Yeah, the combine's warming up. We got some Niners talk. Mike Silver had a great article in the SF Chronicle. And Kevin Huerter, not a lot of drama normally in Sacramento, but Kevin Huerter did have some things to say as far as him wishing he could have been out there helping his team a little bit more, basically saying, "Play me, coach." Played 18 minutes last night.
Yeah, I was saying this, again, I might be making something out of nothing. I thought it was really weird in the end of the game that Jamal Murray was in for as long as he was, and then the Kings went back to Keegan Murray and Sabonis, and if it's to get Sabonis the double-double, I don't like that. I don't.
Chris?
I don't like it either.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. They lost. Yeah. deserve to lose. I didn't think that was very cool.
I agree. It's kind of like, when I think Giannis last year had he missed the shot so he can get his own rebound. It's like in that category of egregious for me, where it's just we don't.
And the Murray part too, the Jamal Murray.
That's what I was going to say. What if does it feel worse or would it have felt better or worse if Jamal Murray wasn't in? Maybe Coach felt like there was a cover because Jamal Murray was still in.
I wonder. I mean, it was like 5 minutes into the quarter and Murray was still in, and they were going to win. And then to me, if it's like start the quarter with Sabonis, if you just want to get the
right,
like you had already taken him out, the game's over. The Kings weren't going.
They like to
win.
stick to their rotations, Jason. whatever the rotation timing is, they don't deviate.
Yeah, it was a rough night. After at one point, I'm like, wow, this might be one of their best wins of the year. What they were doing early, and then it just.
You remember the sequence though, and we'll talk about this more on the show. That sequence when they got the steal, Malik tried to throw Trey Lyles and alley-oop.
Yeah.
Then the Nuggets scored. Next possession, Davion takes it. He was open.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to take that three, but pretty open in the shot clock. And when that happened, it was about 6:40 left in the half. And after that, I said, come back to that sequence.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets never looked back.
Yeah. By the way, on our 3 in the key, you guys did okay.
I did pretty good, I thought. I know a couple hit.
Yeah, you were close on the bench.
That's right.
And then you guys were both really close. I think Chris was technically by numbers closest on the Sabonis Joker lines. You had Davion 3 or more threes.
He had one.
And you had the half court shot.
Didn't happen.
I thought someone had a poster.
Chris did, and he got it. It was Keegan.
Keegan
Catch your
got
body.
it late.
So that was the one he got.
Doesn't
That was
really
a
count,
heck of a dunk, though.
It was, but
It was great.
It doesn't. You're not counting it? Waving it off?
It counts.
It counts, but how good does it feel?
Probably
Not
good for
very.
Keegan.
Not very.
Keegan even looked at the bench. I'm like, wow, what's that about? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something
It's
going
not
on
the
there.
time.
It is not the time. All right, let's get to some celebrity birthdays. There's the music. You know that well. Brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies. It is Leap Day. You guys celebrating Leap Day any special way? Is there a thing to do on Leap Day?
Oh, I know whose
Gotta
birthday
jump
it is
over
because
something.
they keep on posting it.
Yeah. I know we're going to get to that person. Because it's National Time Refund Day, so we get time back. Is that, or we have an extra day? I don't know what that means.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
National
feel like a
Toast
refund.
Day.
Yeah, we're working today.
Yeah, why don't we get it off then?
Right.
If it's a refund.
Right. I'm into toast.
Toast?
Avocado toast.
Yeah.
Gotta mash the avocado.
Yeah, I don't love avocado toast.
I love it.
I love avocado, and I love toast. Together, they're fine.
It's okay.
But yeah.
So some lemon pepper, some tapatio on that bad
lox
boy.
on it.
$9.
No,
Best bread to toast.
I'm good with it all.
Sourdough.
I'm leaning
Yeah,
sourdough.
probably
Like if you're you're getting breakfast. Oh, that comes with
In
toast.
this economy?
But they say you get toast with that. You are getting
Right.
what?
Sourdough.
Sourdough?
Yes.
Sourdough.
Yes. I would do that. Yes.
Sourdough or wheat for me, but sourdough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, nothing else. All right. Happy birthday to Tyrese
Halliburton.
Maxie.
Halliburton.
Yeah.
How old is Tyrese?
Leap day. He's only 6 years old.
Yeah. So I think
Can't
that
stand
should
it.
help
I can't stand it.
on the guessing.
Oh.
I know how old he is.
I know how old he is.
I think we all.
Yeah, I know how old he is.
Okay. Say it all together on the
Say
count
it
of
all
3.
together.
1, 2, 3.
24.
24.
You waited. You waited. You took 24.
24.
Yeah. All right, Tyrese
6.
Halliburton, happy 24th birthday. Happy birthday to Ja
Rule.
Morant.
Ja Rule. How old is Ja Rule today?
That's a tough one.
Oof.
I'm going to say
He might seriously be 8.
48.
Okay.
Ja is 48's a good guess. I'll say 46.
He's 48.
Okay. So there's math involved in this.
Really?
Well, yeah, because you're Leap Day birthday, if you're showing up on the celebrity birthday, it's got to be divided by 4 years. So you picked up on it. 48 is correct.
Yeah, I definitely picked up on that.
Or did you just guess?
I just guessed.
Okay. So let's try another one.
I'm still confused. It's fine. It's fine.
The next time Tyrese will be on this list, he will be 28. The time after that, he'll be 32. The time after that, he'll be 30. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Next year, we will not have a February 28th. He's still turning birthdays. I like explaining this. All right, happy birthday then. We'll do this game to Tony.
Danza.
You say Danza every time.
It's got to be his birthday one day.
Tony, who did you say?
Danza.
No, who did you say the first time?
Gwen.
Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
Gwen Jr.
Motivational speaker?
Roberts, right?
Robbins. Yeah, Tony Robbins. How old is Tony Robbins today?
From Shallow Hal.
Yes. On the years of 4 progression.
Right.
He's a bad guy.
Because we know how to do that.
Yeah, so now we're testing your math skills.
Yeah, totally. 52.
Good. You're playing the right way.
That is a choice.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Sure. Absolutely.
So he could be 48, 52, 56.
Right. He's 56.
56.
I think he's a big 6-0.
Or it could be 6-0.
No, that's a good one.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I just did the quickest math I could.
What would be after 60?
Yep.
64?
64, yeah, it would be, and then 68. He's 64, guys.
Yeah.
Right. No, totally.
All right. We're leaning on birthdays today.
Yeah, I skipped a couple leap years.
The next one is a movie. I'm going to ask what year it came out, so we're back to years.
Okay.
Semi-pro.
Oh, man.
That came out in 2008.
I like that.
That's a good guess. It's probably the right one.
So, okay, you feel better about 2008, 2012, or 2004?
It can't be 2012. But it's probably 8, but I'll say 2004 would be different.
Okay.
I'll say 2012.
Okay, so you're all different. It is 2008.
Yeah.
Best Will Ferrell movie is
Step Brothers.
That is probably the right answer. Semi-pro is really good.
Semi-pro is
the
my
one with Mark
favorite.
Wahlberg when they're cops. Which one's that one?
Oh, the other guys.
That's
a great one.
That's really good.
Kicking and Screaming is underrated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it to the Italian.
I was never in on Elf.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Surprises me.
I like it, but do I need to see it every holiday?
I agree with you.
Really? I mean, I like it.
I agree with you. You don't have to see Elf every year, and you do have to see
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
Thank you.
What was the toy?
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
It's turbo time.
You have to see Jingle All the Way every year.
I have
Nice try, Turtle Man.
I watch it every single year.
I showed you guys my Turbo Man that I have.
That's right.
Have you seen it, Chris?
No.
Me neither.
I still have no idea.
Chris doesn't watch
they're-
movies
I
or listen
know,
to
but
music.
that's why. But I thought in the time frame he might have.
No, he wouldn't do that.
So it's been a non-movie thing your
Me
whole life.
talking about it, Chris wants to watch it less.
Yeah. It's always one of those things. That's definitely a real thing. Like, when people tell you something's good, you instantly are like, I didn't find it myself, so how good could it really be?
That's me and Ozark.
Also, Chris, to be fair, you seeing it now won't be the same as Alan and I enjoying it when we were like kids watching it.
Of course.
What's a movie that someone told you that, and then you're like, yeah, that was good. Like that someone persuaded you to see.
I would have to think of movies I've seen. I don't have enough time. I really don't.
Well, you got 4 hours to decide.
Yeah, I'll think.
Right.
I'll really think about it.
You got 24 hours. Tell us tomorrow.
That's right. All right, that's
Fun
it
and
for
games.
us. Fun and games. Well, maybe we'll have it in there. Movies that Chris thought about seeing but didn't see.
Gosh.
Or hit the post. You want that one tomorrow?
No, please. No, absolutely
That gives you
not.
just
It
nightmares.
gives me the most
I
anxiety.
want, maybe if I want to see
anything.
Alan do it.
Then he can do it.
And you'll
the
just sit
entire,
this one out?
I will gladly
I'm
sit it out.
worried.
I will
All right.
so happily sit it out.
Maybe we won't do that.
Yeah.
All right. We will we're off, but these guys are next. Styles and Watkins coming your way next right here on Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.